member, the Honorable Raylan St. the Honorable Juliana Henderson, Honorable Stanley Fedel, Honorable Pierre Charles, Honorable John Fabian, Mr. and Honorable Ed Regis, Mr. James Alexander, and Mr. Avon Kazami. He has not gone, but is still with us today. We also recognize and thank those who have not yet made the transition for their valuable service to our community. Brothers and sisters, tonight the struggle begins to end this disrespect from outsiders. We must reject this culture of poverty, hopelessness, dependency, which is plaguing our beloved community. And we must say no to the politics of division, hatred, and fear. We must reclaim the glorious days of the milk and honey, of productivity, of independence, of the goodness spirit, the love and the unity which blossomed in Grandbay. We must drive out this ghost which has hijacked our community and summon the spirits of the Geneva uprisings of 1791, 1844, and 1974. To put an end to this blight, we are going to put an end to this blight, and we're going to put the city back in Grandbay. South City must rise again to the glorious days when we led and others followed. My brothers, with this word, I thank you and good afternoon to everybody.
Yes, thank you, Mr. John. Thank you for your kind words of welcome. And I am sure thank you once again. Yes, we were just, Mr. John mentioned about the minute of silence, but it really wasn't taken. So let's just observe a 1 minute silence for all the persons he mentioned. Pal Rep St. Louis, it is Fadel, Henderson, Piero, Fabian, Regis, Maureen John, Nicholas Liverpool, James Alexander. Maybe we'll have more names later, but let's observe 1 minute silence, please. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. Yes, we are having this activity this afternoon in Grandbay. This activity is being spearheaded by the Electoral Reform Coalition. The Electoral Reform Coalition is a gathering of civic society organizations and political parties that came about to follow up action having to do with the recently held sham elections. The Electoral Reform Coalition has been very active, engaging with their affiliates on a regular basis. And over the recent times, we have had two major activities. One major activity which included a lot of promotion around that, involving Senator Anil Roberts from the opposition in the Trinidad and Tobago Parliament. That was held at the Public Service Union Conference Room, and it was a very successful event by all accounts. More recently, we have had a unity rally initiated by the United Workers' Party, but involving all the civic organizations and political parties, discussing the matter of electoral reform and where we are, and trying to educate the general public as much as we can. This event in Grandbay this afternoon is a follow-up to those activities, hoping to continue to sensitize, to build awareness, to inform, and to educate the general public. And being in Grandbay this evening, this event is particularly meant for you, the community of Grandbay. But we have with us persons from other areas, other constituencies, in solidarity, persons who have been with us all along, representing the various organizations. Let me mention that we are not here having a political meeting per se. We are having a meeting to educate, to inform, to discuss. We are not here to make play anybody, to gossip here this evening. We are here to provide you with the facts so that you, the people, can take an informed decision when the time comes, that you can represent your country in a very prudent and responsible way in terms of action that you may call upon to participate in to further the move towards electoral reform. So this is where we are. Grandbay is a very special place for us because Grandbay has been associated in the past with political struggles, with resilience and resistance to ensure that the masses benefited from social reform, from land reform, and from popular education. Grandbay was very much involved in the independence process. I recall that very well because I used to be in a movement in the Southeast with the Yard Cooperative, and we used to be in sympathy with the struggles in Grandbay. So this is where we are. There is more to be said as we move along. It's for me now to invite our coordinator of the Electoral Reform Coalition, Mr. Johnson Boston, to address you at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Coffey. Thank you so much. Good afternoon to you, my friends, brothers and sisters of South City, Grandbay. We're here this afternoon, as was said to you by the chairman of the meeting, is to discuss electoral reform. Electoral reform is not the business of a political party per se. It is the business of every citizen to get involved to ensure that our election is free and fair and our people can participate without any difficulty. It is not an arrangement for just a few. It is an arrangement for everybody. You send your children to school, you are educated, and you want to participate in your country's development. And of course, our forefathers recognize the importance of us working as a people to elect our members of parliament to sit in the House of Assembly to represent us and to sit in our government to work for us. What we have seen in recent time is people who believe that they own everything and you are at their own mercy. And that is not the case. We are discussing reform for the last 14 or more years. And as a country, a very important country in the region, in the world, people are wondering how comes we cannot solve the issues of electoral reform. People are asking why it takes us so long to come to a conclusion with electoral reform. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand that if the government see us not interested in our business, in the governance of our country, they will then take advantage and create a macaque of how they govern our country. And in that sense, we have to be very much involved and alert in ensuring that reform come to our country so our election can be free and fair and free from exploitation and trickery, brothers and sisters. A number of countries in the region have gone and done reform. And even recently you heard Antigua announce that come July or August of this year, they will do their third re-registration procedure. Third. And then the chief officer came out. Chief officer in the Prime Minister's office came out and said that the government and the opposition agree for a third re-registration campaign in Antigua. The government and the opposition agrees. In Dominica, you find a government who believes that they are in charge of everything and nobody else have a say. And then when it's election, they come to you now and try to look around to see what they can pick up to represent themselves in government. And we're saying we have had this nonsense for too long. And the people of Dominica need to make up their mind, brothers and sisters, that we need to get involved in reform. Can you imagine? The Prime Minister told us after the 2019 election that reform is a vexing issue. And in his first 100 days after the last 2019 election, he would look after reform. He then appointed Sir Dennis Byron, paid $450,000. Work we had done already, the CCM had done that work. The United Workers' Party had done that work. The Freedom Party had done that work. The Concerned Citizens Movement, CCM I mentioned a while ago, done that work. And every organization in Dominica got involved in having that work done. There was a group of civil society made up of the church, the business community, and the unions. And they too had done some work on reform. The report went to government, and the government, instead of moving, and all this work was done free of charge, the government decided that they would bring in the OAS, CARICOM, and the Commonwealth to do a survey on reform. They did the work, they consulted. I remember I met with them at the Electoral Commission office, and then they presented a report to the government. The Attorney General, Levi Peter, he said if they had to implement what was recommended, it would cost the country some money and it would be too close to the election. Election was about a year or more, brothers and sisters, away. And then you had the election. The Labour Party came back into government, and the Prime Minister promised in 100 days he will appoint somebody, which he did. And while it cost us as Dominicans who did the work, it did not cost our country a cent. The Prime Minister paid Sir Dennis Byron $450,000 and another $150,000, a total of $600,000 to do the very work that we did as Dominicans, free of charge and for ourselves. And you see, they played hoops away with reform. They had this consultation going around and they ignored Grandbay. And you know why they ignored Grandbay? Because they know the people of Grandbay would not sit in a meeting and hear foolishness and agree with it. So they did not come to Grandbay. So we have decided to come here today to say to you, the people of Grandbay, that you have led in many areas. And you heard a while ago the chairman mention it. And therefore, we as a country must come together collectively to work for the good of our country and ourselves. And I want to call on you here in Grandbay, and of course the people of Dominica in totality, that we must all come together as a united people to say to the government that we want to get involved in reform, and we want reform so that reform can make the playing field leveled for everyone to participate. The reason why they are afraid is because they are involved in cocoa macaque. And therefore, if they settle and do what is right, then the cocoa macaque will work against them, brothers and sisters. They're not interested in your affairs. In St. Kitts, the Governor General, when they were doing the reform, took control. And the government and the opposition were involved on the same committee, discussing, agreeing, and disagreeing to get proper reform for St. Kitts. And then you see what happened? The government that was in office lost. Another party came in the government. They governed the country and the people were moving forward. Then they had some issues. They went to election, and the same Labour Party came back in government, and they made a foundation, and St. Kitts is booming today. And many Dominicans who go to St. Kitts will come back and say to you that they have seen St. Kitts on the move. These are the same thing that we're asking for. We want our country to be on the move, and for our country to be on the move, it has to be our business, all of us, from Grandbay, from anywhere else in Dominica, it has to be our business. So we're saying to you this afternoon, you'll hear more speakers who will speak to you. We're saying that this issue is a very serious issue. The Prime Minister said that the first quarter of 24, he will go to Parliament with the drafted legislation to pass in the House of Assembly. We wrote a letter to the Prime Minister on the 29th of January 2024 and asked him for a meeting on the 15th of February. He said the 15th was inconvenient for him. He would set a date. And up to today is the 17th of March, and the Prime Minister is playing Nage CA, hoops away with this business. Brothers and sisters, we are the people who must come together, unite together to work for the good of our country, and electoral reform is the first step that we must engage in to ensure that our election here is free and fair. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Boston. Yes, just bear with us for 1 minute. We just want to shift the mics a little more out. Okay, but while that is being done, first of all, we need to let the outside world know we are wrong. So Let me ask you to give yourself a big round of applause. Let the outside world know that we are wrong in Grandbay this afternoon on this major educational exercise. Yes, as we have indicated to you, just some remarks before I bring the other speaker. As we have indicated to you, we in the ERC, in the Electoral Reform Coalition, we are dissatisfied with government's lack of urgency in addressing the electoral reform issue. The government has issued a lot of deadlines for electoral reform. And after 15 years, and even right now, we have had the Byron report, we have had the consultations, and while we were given a promise of March, we are yet to see the government and the authorities coming forward and discussing with us any recommendations that will form part of a regime of new legislation. And even while that is so, we are hearing the PM, the Prime Minister, mentioning that he's looking at bringing glimpses or pieces of the electoral reform process. We have a lot to talk about that. So, if you are ready for electoral reform, let me hear you say, yeah! Are you ready for electoral reform? Yes, yes, yes. We are getting here. And we are moving to our next speaker, representing the Civic vibes, no other than Mr. Loftus-Durham.
Ladies and gentlemen, a special good afternoon to you. Let us put our hands together for ourselves. I want to thank each and every one of you who are physically here today in Grandbay to come and have a discussion about our country. That is how we know our country was before. Ladies and gentlemen, in terms of we having conversations about our country. But for far too long, these conversations have been suppressed. These conversations, we have not been having them because of fear and intimidation, ladies and gentlemen. So again, I want to say a special good afternoon to all of you here in Dominica, those of you here in Grandbay, the multitudes of you on social media at this time, those listening to Q95, those listening as well on DNO and Civic Vibes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to speak to you this afternoon as a representative of an NGO organization in Dominica named Civic Vibes. The discussion this afternoon is circulated around free, fair, and transparent general elections. Far too long, we have had a government, and you know, ladies and gentlemen, I don't mix my words. Far too long, the government led by Roosevelt Skerrit has been stealing general elections in Dominica. 2019 general election was the culmination of that heist of our general elections in Dominica. 2022 was the icing on the cake. And Dominicans, we must say to Roosevelt Skerrit and company that he shall not continue to have his way, manipulating, stealing his way at the top of the political pinnacle in Dominica. We all know, as young children growing up, We tell our children, do not steal, do not lie, do not cheat. And we cannot have a government, a very corrupt bunch of people, headed by none other than Roosevelt Skerrit, to continue to steal general elections in Dominica. We have to put a stop to that once and for all. And that is why I want to thank the efforts of the Electoral Reform Coalition, taking that message to the length and breadth of the country, so that whenever another election is called in Dominica, it's imperative, we ought to have that process much freer, fairer, and much more transparent. We always like to pride ourselves as being the first for many things. But for far too long, the situation is, the reality is in Dominica, we are last. We are last in the Caribbean basin. We are last in the world as it pertains to maintaining of our democracy, maintaining of the democratic rule. And one of the key tenets of that democratic rule is having free, fair, and transparent general elections. For example, ladies and gentlemen, Antigua, a sister country, 40 minutes by plane, have done reforms over and over. And they are now in the process of trying to perfect that system of theirs. And let me just break the news to you. Whatever we will be discussing here tonight will be relayed in Antigua in the week, this week coming. Basically, telling our Dominica brothers and sisters who live in Antigua and Barbuda about the fallacies that occur in their country, Dominica. So on behalf of the radio station in Antigua, whom yours truly have made contact with, I want to thank them profusely for coming on board with us in Dominica and spreading that message in Antigua, across the Caribbean region, and further afield, so that the people will know our plight in Dominica, and that plight must come to a halt. That plight must come to a halt, ladies and gentlemen. So we are demanding. We are no longer asking. We know we have a lame duck organization chaired by Mr. Duncan Stowe. And so we are putting Duncan Stowe and his people on high notice that the people of Dominica will no longer just sit back and agree that our electoral process be hijacked by a few political pundits for their own selfish political egos. And so, Mr. Duncan Stowe, the people who are gathered in Grandbay, the people who are conscious about democracy in Dominica, we are putting you on high note, sir. That it is high time, as you said, to get your foot or feet wet and do the work for and on behalf of the people. It cannot be that a commission, the members of that commission, at least 3 of them, including the chairman, have sat by, idly by, do nothing on behalf of the people, and they are basically reaping the state's money every month. They say a fair day's work for what? Very well. And so what is happening at the commission? They are not giving us a fair day's work. And so they should not be having our monies every month. We should not allow that to continue. And so it's on that basis, and that basis alone, that we are saying we are demanding an overhaul of the electoral system in Dominica to include all what is guaranteed for democracy to flourish in this country. And so we are talking about a sanitized voters list. We are talking about a clean voters list, ladies and gentlemen. Because it cannot be that the voters list, those who are eligible to vote on that voters list, they are much more in number than the population of the country. That, I keep saying, is a mathematical madness. And so we, the Dominican people, we must correct that in the interest of our country. We need to be able to be properly identified. And so no longer should we just go at a polling station and take it for granted that the persons in that station or around that station or the presiding officer should be able to identify us. So we are calling, we are demanding for at least a voter's ID card for the next election. We are also calling, ladies and gentlemen, for a thing that has plagued us for a long time, whereby the re-registration of all eligible voters in or out of Dominica. As I said before, Antigua is maybe on their fourth straight now, third leg in getting that done. So why are we in Dominica lagging at the back in that department? And so, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to be long because there are many, many more speakers to come. But I just want to tell us that the time has come. A matter of fact, the time has passed when we should be united for Dominica. We should be united for one cause and one cause. And we should say in no uncertain terms that no longer in Dominica, our Dominica, that we will have elections stolen in our country. So 2019, 2022 should be the very last time that a very corrupt regime, just like the election that is ended or has ended in Russia today, where Putin stole another election in Russia, got a landslide victory on the books, and he is killing opposition. He is suppressing free speech. And that is what we are seeing as a mirror image in Dominica. The suppression of free speech, the harassment of opposition figures, opposition parties. And so, Dominicans, I want to applaud us all. Let us continue that fight. Let us continue that fight. That fight, ladies and gentlemen, is not for the faint-hearted. Mr. Chairman, I'm coming 1 minute to wrap up. That fight is not for the faint-hearted. And so whatever we need to do, let us prepare ourselves mentally, spiritually, physically to take on that battle head on, so that our children and our children's children will be very proud of us into taking action to help safeguard their and our democracy. Finally, it was Brother Franz Fanon many years ago, a native of Martinique. He fought on the liberation front in Algeria and certain fronts in Africa. And he said, freedom that is not fought for, it is not worth mentioning. So, ladies and gentlemen, our freedom in Dominica, it is worth fighting for. It is worth fighting for. And let us be prepared to do whatever it takes, even to the point of fighting for our freedom, so that these political pundits, headed by Roosevelt, Skerritt, and others, cannot continue to steal general elections in Dominica. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your listening.
Thank you, thank you. Give the man a big round of applause. Give the man a big round of applause, please. Very much on point, Lofty. Yes, we're still doing a little adjustment. We're trying to make sure we get the mic to give you the effect it's supposed to be giving you in terms of the audio. So just bear with us as we make those changes as we move along. But yes, we are here. We are here. We are not here by any accident. We are here because while we at the Electoral Reform Coalition grouping have used all civil means to achieve electoral reform, due to government constant procrastination, putting it back, not being that interested, we are where we are. And we recognize, therefore, that right now we're in a battle. We want to refer to it as a battle for electoral reform. Electoral reform is key for free and fair elections, for good governance, for protecting our democracy. This is why we are here. And you know that Grandbay has championed the cause for political independence. And Grandbay has championed the cause for democracy and for free and fair elections. So we are calling on you, the Grandbay people, to step forward. You have been forgotten, neglected, abandoned, and disrespected by the authorities. And therefore, now is your time to come forward and to say no. No to the nonsense about your community. I have seen the videos, I have seen the pictures of the stench in the housing. We have seen all the degradation in Grandbay over time. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who live here know more about it. So you have to do something about it, and to bring Grandbay back on board, to re-establish Grandbay at the center of resistance of electoral reform and political struggle in the Commonwealth of Dominica. So we are moving along. As I said, we are a grouping of many organizations. You have heard from the Civic vibes. We have the CCM to speak to you. We have NJAM. We have Rosie Sparks. We have representatives from the United Workers' Party and the Dominican Freedom Party. We have NJAM, National Joint Action Movement. I will now call to the podium Mr. Kent Vital, who will speak on behalf of NJAM.
Good afternoon, Grandbay. Hello. Right. I feel your love. When I came in here today, when we came in, I could feel the goodness of the people of Grandbay. Grandbayrians are great people. Isn't that so? As a matter of fact, I was standing there a while ago, and I saw some of the kindness of the people. And a guy was driving there, and he saw some chickens going across the road. You know the guy slowed down? That shows. But seriously speaking, I heard all they said earlier on, that we need to bring the city back into Grandbay. Do you agree for all day? Come on. Do you agree for all day? Of course we agree for all day. We have to bring the city back into Grandbay. Now, it's no secret. Everybody knows it. Our country is in trouble. Do you know that? Our country is in trouble. It's like we are a failed state. We are failing. Our country has been run to the ground. Do you know that? Can you see it around you? Our country has been run to the ground. But the good news is that our country can actually do better. Our country can do better. And I, for one, I am determined to do everything I can to make sure our country do better. Are you determined to do everything you can to make sure our country does better? But you know something? That's what we're talking about today. How do we get to the place where we can be sure, or we can make sure our country can do better? Now, there will be many speakers after me, but you know the situation in your own communities. I was just casually asking somebody about agriculture, and he laughed. He said, agriculture? He said, even the agricultural station, they have broken it down. That means that there is no importance given to agriculture. So we know in our community what's happening, and others will speak about that, so I won't spend too much time on that. But we also know what's happening in the nation beyond Grandbay. We know how our nation is going down the drain. We know how there is a lack of employment for our young people. Do you see it around you? Am I speaking lies? Come on, I want you to answer me now. Am I speaking lies? Okay, you know something? If I speak a lie, I want you to boo me. But if I speak the truth, I want you to agree with me and say, yeah! Am I speaking the truth? Yeah. Good. So we know our country is going down the drain. Our education system, our health care. I mean, you actually have people who are afraid to go to the hospital when they're sick. Is that what we want in our country? That's not what we want in our country. We don't want that. But there are others will speak to that later, about how we are and where we are as a country, as a nation, how we are going down the drain. Others will speak about that. But when a government is not doing good in our system of democracy, when we as a people know and think and realize that the country is not being run well, what do we do, or what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to vote them out. Isn't that so? We are supposed to vote them out. That is what democracy is supposed to be about. Isn't that so? So how it is we cannot vote these out? And that is what we're talking about today. Because they have failed to give electoral reform. And that is where we have to stand up. That's why the people of Grandbay, others have said it. You have been at the forefront of the struggle. You have been warriors. And it's time for us to get back to the forefront of that struggle. But how are these guys able to remain in power? I want to talk about three things. Maybe there may be more, but at least three. First, they have fooled many. Promises, promises, promises. Haven't you gotten promises from this government? I'm sure we have gotten many promises. Have these promises been fulfilled though? Have these promises been fulfilled? No, they have not. Promises, promises, promises. You know, there is an old thing. I don't know how many of you old enough to know about him, but I'm sure many of you are, of course. Burning Spears. Remember the song he sang? Hey, 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 hey. They want us to think stupid. They want us to feel stupid. That's how they want us to be. But you know, there's a saying that says, fool me once, shame on who? But fool me twice. Well, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But you know, today we are going to say no more. We will not be fooled anymore. In 25 years, not much has happened. Nothing has happened. They have fooled us. And that must stop. We have to see through their foolishness, through what they're doing. We have to see through their lies. So that's the first thing. The second thing is they have cheated at elections. And that is why we are asking for electoral reform. They have imported votes or voters. What else have they done? They have used the very money that they are supposed to use to develop the country. They have put it aside, stolen it, and used that same money to cheat at the elections. So we say that must stop. And one of the ways to stop that, and mark you, I say one of the ways to stop that is to ensure that there is electoral reform. The other thing, the third reason, is that they have used us. They have used some communities. Now, there's a quote that says, if you allow people to make more withdrawals than deposits in your life, you will be out of balance and in the negative. Know when to close that account. It's time to close the Labour Party account, my brothers and sisters. Because they are taking more out of us than they're giving. It's time for that to close. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? It's time to close that. Now, but we are in a big hole. We're in a situation that we need to get out of. And how are we supposed to do that? How are we supposed to stand against our oppressors? You know one of the things that they do? They make the oppressed think that he is not oppressed. And we have to understand what they do and how they do it. So they say foolish things like, or they'll give you little things. Give you a little $5, a little $20 or so. But talking to a guy earlier today, he said one thing. He said to me, I will not bow. And today's Sunday, so maybe we should give a little Bible story. You remember in the Bible where you talk about the boys Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when they were told to bow down to some kind of god. What did this guy say? We will not bow down to your God. And they were threatened that they would be thrown into the fiery furnace. But they said, no, we have a God that we serve. And you can throw us into the furnace if you want. Our God will deliver us. But even if he doesn't deliver us, we're still not going to bow down. You see, that was the spirit of Grandbay. The spirit of Grandbay was the one that said, we will not bow down, Grandbay. We have to wake up and get back to that spirit. We will not bow down. Can you say that with me? We will not bow down. No more bowing down. So that's part of what they have tried. Give little things, give little that. But when you look at the bigger picture, the city is out of Grandbay. The community is not moving forward. The country is in trouble. They are breaking the laws. They are developing an international airport without proper approvals. While they are doing it, they are trying to do some basic things that they should have done at the beginning. They are destroying our country. Look all around us. Look at the other countries. I have That is why we have reached a point in this country where it is not about being a Labourite. It is not about being a UWPite. It is not about being a freedom right. It is not about being an independent person. It is about being a Dominican. This country is so beautiful. This country is so great. But they are ripping this country. They are taking away all the hope of our people. They are taking away, as one guy said in Calibishi, the dreams of our young people. And it's time for us to stop that. Are you here with me? Are you agreeing with me? So, that is what they want to do. So it's time we're going to rest this party thing aside. And we are going to fight for this country together. Together we will fight. We will fight for this country. We will bring back into this country dignity again. Okay? Now, they have also tried to use the oppressed. Okay? To be oppressors themselves. And in the past they have tried to use Grandbay. And you know it better than me, and there are others who will follow and who will explain to you what they have done in this community. But it's time that we say we will no longer be used. We will not allow ourselves to be used in your dirty games anymore. It's time that we take our country back. It is time for electoral reform. It is time for us to do better. Now, if you are such a measure, and I understand. If you're such a measure, the guy likes to think he's a measure, the demigod or whatever he thinks he is. If you're such a measure, and the country is doing so good, and the people love you so much, why do you try to bribe the people? I understand somebody showed up here today, isn't that so? A guy showed up here today. I'm not sure what he was doing, but pretty much he came because he knew we were having this here. If you're such a measure, why don't just give the electoral reform? If you are so good, if the people love you so much, why do you have to bribe them to do what you want them to do? Just walk in, they will see your works, they will see what you have done, and they will do the right thing and they'll vote for you. So my brothers and sisters, we have to be aware of what they're trying to do, what they're doing. And we have to understand that in unity is what we have to use. They have tried to divide us. Okay? Now, division takes unity, you know. Okay? Sorry, the divider. Sorry, let me say that again. You notice that the dividers are united. Okay? So when they want to do what they want to do, they unite and they divide us. But let me tell you something. If that same unity among us, it is what is going to cause us to be able to take off that yoke of oppression that is upon us. And therefore my organization, the organization of which I am the chairperson, National Joint Action Movement, that is what we are trying to encourage. We are trying to encourage people to let's act together, let's work together. It's time we drop this labor thing, this freedom thing, this UWP thing, at least in this season, at this time. It is time for us to move as one. Because when you see we act as one, we cannot be stopped. Do you agree? We cannot be stopped when we decide to move as one. So I know we can do it. And I know we can do it because we have it in us. Our ancestors did it. Grandbay people did it. The spirit is in Grandbay. You led the way before. You can lead the way again. We can do it. And you know, at the base of all of this has to be doing what is right. And the scripture again says, righteousness, doing right, exalts the nation. But sin is a reproach to any people. It's time for us to right a lot of wrongs. So I know we can do it, and we are going to do it. So we have to demand electoral reform. We can only hope that they will do what is right. But our eyes are upon them. We know they don't want to do what is right. But we are going to give them a fair chance, which is a few more weeks or whatever, to do what is right. If they do not do what is right, as a people, we have to drop our fears. We have to stand up. Because if we don't stand up now, we will be losing our country. How many of you have been following what is going on in Haiti? Do you want that to happen in Dominica? We don't want our country to be like that in any way whatsoever. And that's why what is going on in our country must be stopped. We have to stop it. We have our young people that we have to fight for. This country can be great. This country can be beautiful. So as I close, I want to play a little tribute to a great man. I know we paid a lot of tribute early on to several of them. But in particular, Pierre Charles. I want to pay some tribute to him. You know why I want to pay some tribute to him? Because some time ago, it was a number of years ago, I worked then with the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. And I had the privilege, because Dominica at that time was going from some rough times. And what I saw in Pierre Charles was a true leader. I saw a man of heart and passion. And it hurt my heart that he had to pass away. And what replaced him is a pity and a shame. But I saw this man face the nation, face the troubles like a man, and was willing to do what was required to turn the country around. And he started to do it, you know. And if it wasn't for his passing, I think we'd be in a much better place. So once again, Grandbay, you have led the way before for people like Pierre Charles. So we have to get back to that place where we lead the way again. Are you with me? So We want electoral reform. When do we want it? Okay. So people, I thank you very much. But this is just the beginning. We are going around and we are sensitizing our people. We hope they do the right thing, but time will come when we'll call on you. And we will all have to make our voices heard together. That's why we are saying we're going to act together. In unity there is strength. So thank you very much, brothers and sisters.
Okay, thank you. Yes, give us the man a serious round of applause, a big round of applause. Let's hear it. Okay, a lot of us, this is a serious fight. A lot of us have to make the necessary sacrifices to push this effort along. So we have to give and express our appreciation to those people who have come up front and leading the way in this exercise. As we move forward, just to echo the point made by Mr. Ken Vital, we need your unity. We need your strength, ladies and gentlemen, because as we are saying, these childish games by the government needs to stop. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to unite to put the stop to it once and for all. And let me say that we have them reacting, ladies and gentlemen. We have them painting houses. We have them coming to church today, ladies and gentlemen. That is the power of the Electoral Reform Coalition, ladies and gentlemen. So don't think that what we are doing is in vain. They are afraid. They are seeing what is coming and they are afraid, ladies and gentlemen. So we just have to keep the fight and you have to make the necessary sacrifice to keep the fight going. I want to invite at this time a man you know very well, a former parliamentarian, former pal rep of Goodwill, no other than Mr. Daniel Lugay. I think he has an open letter to the PM and we are giving him an opportunity to express that open letter to you as part of this exercise this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a round of applause. Welcome him to the podium, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Grandbay! Good evening. As the chairman said, I will be sharing an open letter to Prime Minister Skerrit and the President of the Commonwealth of Dominica. Sir and Madam, we do not want a bloody revolution in our country. Skerrit, give us electoral reform. Antigua, in the last few election cycles, has conducted complete voter re-registration and is about to do another in July and August of 2024. Skerrit, you are inciting civil disobedience by your repeated promises and denial of re-registration and electoral reform in Dominica. Dominica is a peace-loving country and we are a peace-loving people. But you, Roosevelt Skerrit, are backing us up to a wall. 25 years in office for one man in a democracy is unusual and unprecedented. In world politics, only dictators cling onto office for so long. Rule by decree and manipulate elections to keep power. Don't let your name be named with communist tyrants such as Putin, where ordinary voters in the past few days of Russia's elections are fearlessly protesting in the polling booths. Roosevelt Skerrit, Don't let your name be named with leaders such as Kim Jong-un and Putin, who poison and kill political opponents, all in the pathway of dictatorships. Lessons learned from those who governed Dominica before teaches us that imposing oneself on a people for such an extended period will lead to great unpopularity and widespread resentment. Your close associates and advisors and
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your patience. Roosevelt Scarrett, your close associates and advisors are not telling you the truth for selfish reasons. These blood-sucking state parasites will push you to your political destruction because of their extreme greed. Chief Minister and Dominica's first Premier, Edward Oliver LeBlanc of blessed memory, was greatly loved, but at the end he voluntarily left office somewhat dejected. Patrick Roland John of blessed memory was loved by the masses and the common people, but undermining Ayatollahs forced him out of office. Dame Mary Eugenia Charles of blessed memory served 3 terms, yet despite the love people showed her, 15 years was more than enough, and even she had to go by the ballot. Roosevelt Scarrett, we know you are in mortal fear of life after political office, but if you are forthright and come clean with your people, they will forgive you. And if you are arrogant, you will reap what you sow. To every road, there is a bend. To every rope, there is an end. At this stage in Dominica's democracy, people are fed up and young people are restless and impatient for change. You have now arrived at the end of your road. Let your end game and your departing legacy be one of listening to the voice of reason, common sense, and electoral fairness. Let electoral reform be your final act of decency as you walk the final curtain. Young people of Grandbay, Scarrett imposed a power upon you who is now in hiding. He is hiding from you because he has no cultural connection to you. Now is the time for you to represent yourself at the highest level. Never again must anyone impose a parliamentary representative on you. I say never again. Grandbay, you are better than that. Grandbay, I love you. Goodbye.
Thank you, Daddy. Thank you. Serious words there, and yes, we have to apply the pressure from all sides. We ourselves from the Electoral Reform Coalition, we are doing whatever we can. We have been seeking meetings with the Prime Minister, with the President, with the Electoral Commission, and any pressure from wherever, whatever sources it can come to apply, we welcome that. So we hope that the authorities are listening. We hope they will take note, and we want them to act. We want them to act. You cannot just go by month to month, year to year, gawking, lying, misbehaving, calling people names and all kind of thing like that. That is not what we're there for. This is a serious matter. This is our democracy. So we need to take that very seriously. This is our democracy. Yes, very seriously, and I think we now can have the interlude of music. Yes. We are moving on. All right, we're still trying to get things properly worked out with the music. All right, we're still trying to get things properly worked out with the music. Yes. Okay. Yeah, we are back on. Yes. Okay. We are back there. Try to deal with the music, get it clearer. Hello. Yes, we were getting a little feedback there, a little playback. So it's okay now? It's okay? Alright, so we are moving on. I think you can hear us clearly. We are moving on, and we have one of our other groups, affiliates of the Electoral Reform Coalition. Our brother who was supposed to be here with us this evening cannot make it. But our former Vice President of the Concerned Citizens Movement, Mr. Overhaul, is right here, and he has consented to say a few words on behalf of the Concerned Citizens Movement. So let's welcome him. Let's hear you. Let's hear your applause for Mr. Earl Bruno, representing the Concerned Citizens Movement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and also the president of the group in which I am part of. And also the president of the group in which I am part of. Yes, yes, man. Lale, we are here. We are here with you. Grandbay Massive. Bodio Tetmon. We are here with you. All of Grandbay. We are live here. Yes, my people. We are here. We come to interact with you, socialize with you, and bring the good news. Yes, 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 we testing. Yes, we testing. Yes, Mr. Technician. Yes, Yes, Mr. Technician. Microphone 1, 2. Yes, we are here. Yes, 1, 2. Yeah, man. Lively up yourself. Yeah, man. Yes, my people. Greetings to each and every one of you. It gives me great pleasure to be here in Lale on this beautiful Sunday evening. So, feel welcome, feel free to be here and to hear the good news as to where we are and where we are heading. But I'm happy to have Lofty here. I can see people like Jan and Irina and so many other people here who have stood up on behalf of reform in Dominica. And we stood in the corners and we keep knocking the door. So for everyone, I want to say your endurance and faithfulness is what will drive us to real reform and economic reform and real reform in this country. So my people, we are on a mission and we are going to do it together. And that mission is united we stand and divided we fall. So that means to say, from all colors, from all walks of life, we are going to do it together. And it's years now we've been knocking on the doors to the powers that be for something which is very important for all of us in Dominica and for all the political parties and for all the voters. So meaning, so someday you up and someday you down. So there must be reform that would be able to facilitate all on a fair playing field. So we are here, it's not for show, it's not for game, but for serious business. And that means to say, how we take this reform is how we will view our country. Because at this moment, you see the style of how our country election has been running, it has been affecting our livelihood, it affecting our homes, it affecting our business, it affecting our economy, and it affecting our cash flow. So as a result, we have a major problem that's not only for political parties, but for all of us as citizens of Dominica. So that is why it is our responsibility to step up to the plate and to say in no uncertain term is reform or you out. Reform or you out. Reform or you out. Reform or you out. The time has come as we as a people must stand up and send a clear message to the powers that be. Reform or you out. Reform or you out. Reform or you out. Stand firm, my people. Stand strong. And in this crowd, I realize it are people that sending ball by ball commentary to the big man. They call him world boss. But let me say to him, the hour and the moment is upon you. And we, the citizens of this country, we're watching every move. and we are serious about our country at this point in time. But also too, I have to meet with you on a one-on-one. Let me put my proposal, my ideas, and what we the people of this country rally up about. So ladies and gentlemen, keep the faith, hold the fort, don't give up, don't go loose, don't go slack. Faithfulness, endurance, perseverance. Together we can, together we will, together we must, together we shall, together we are going to have reform, together we are going to overcome. So hold that faith, hold that thought, be ready, be on the alert, because it's either reform or you out. Good evening, God bless the people of Grandbay, and God bless all of you. Hold that thought, keep that faith. We are going forward ever, backward never. Good evening.
Yes, thank you. Give the man a big round of applause, please. Give the man a big round of applause. Yes. We needed that dynamism to get the speakers to work properly. So thanks, Mr. Bruno. You get the speakers to work properly. Yes, I. Power in the man. But that's where we are. We are in a big fight. And we need your strength. We need your sacrifice. We need your unity. We need your attention. We need your action, so that we can make electoral reform a reality in Dominica. Places like Antigua, they're into their third round of re-registration of voters, and we in Dominica are yet to put the legislative framework to enable such important aspects of the election process to take place in Dominica. So there is a lot of work to be done. And I asking you, the people from Grandbay, yes, we are coming to you. We are not just there to talk to you. We are there to talk with you. And we have an open mic for you, the people of Grandbay, to come forward and to express your views at this electoral reform coalition meeting this evening. So we are moving on, and we have with us a brave man, a man who put himself forward to fight with Vince Henderson to become your pal rep here in Grandbay. And we have no other than the man Handbag. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. A man of the soil, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for Handbag. And following Handbag, we will take a few minutes for anybody from Grandbay who want to come to express their views. I think we have somebody down by the name of Gerard as well. So if Gerard is here in his name, after Handbag, Gerard can come and use the open mic to express himself. So let's have it for Handbag, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, my people in Grandbay. That is the boy. That's this boy for Grandbay and for Dominica and for the world. Not Grandbay only. That is not Grandbay only. That is for Dominica. Not for Grandbay alone. Because if Grandbay people want to stand right now, we've been oiled. Now we have a tube. We got a tube in the sea and we don't know where we be now. Everybody's hiding. We're not seeing Vince. We're not seeing nobody, just Handbag. That is the boy. When the people can jump high, they can jump low. We in poverty in that village. And we were never in poverty. We were never in poverty in that village. For when a funeral is when everybody have to attend for a drink. We were never like that. We were never, ever like that. Our road, 8 years,
Scary fooling us in that village. That Grandbay constituency, Civic constituency, and Pishne, Belfi. And we don't have a good road. The only thing we get in that village, is poverty. And I said, no way for poverty. We have to stand. And we have to take a good stand and tell Vince, tell anybody that coming to watch Grandbay, because today, Sky come up to Grandbay for church. Since after the by-election, so which in case what you taking us for a more criminal? Like we are nobody, man. We are nobody to you. Because I'm not standing, going to Q95 and standing again. No, man. You have to respect Grandbay people, man. After, at least, man. We going all out, you know, we going all out. What UNICEF down there? What UNICEF fight for Grandbay. UNICEF come out from St. Thomas and they come and fight for Grandbay. UNICEF fight for Grandbay. No man cannot say, why UNICEF don't do nothing for Grandbay. UNICEF fight for Grandbay. UNICEF that give us houses and land in Highland. Where I'm living here, we buy land. Patriots let us pay for it. At $4 a square foot. And under the rest, we don't get nothing. Patriots build Boulevard in by the bay. On the Patriots Boulevard. The Grandbay Secondary School, Edison Streetfield James have built it under the 92 Party when Holy was in office. We don't get nothing under Roosevelt Scary. Their Scary come and Scary tell people from Grandbay, half of the cake, we go and get it, but we didn't get no cake. We get a cube. A cube. Handbag. Come up. And I go up as a parent for the Grandbay constituency to stand. And Grandbay people watch me. I let them get windows, doors. Let them get everything, and I tell them good things have to come our way. Just let us hold the strength and the strength and the power, and we go and beat him. Grandbay people take me for those, and they tell me the handbag pass a fake now, Vince a fake we after 2 days you got him only Vince. We have Vince do now. When Vince come to Grandbay, Vince windows up. With a Mercedes Benz back in right here. Look the Labour Party office. That is the Labour Party office. Nobody cannot come to Vince's office. Nobody, because when Vince come, I have to attend a meeting. 5 minutes I can stay before you. Oh my goodness. And I'm telling you, I'm not running from my village to go nowhere. Maka ale pieskoti. You support misery. They have to take out the misery. And we have to follow. We have to follow to get voters ID card, because if you go to the bank, you need a card. Your social security card. Anywhere you go in Rosie for something, you have to have an identification card. You have to have a card to show what you want. So when you talk about Scary not the prime minister of a country, my brother. Scary not the prime minister of a country. Scary, they're doing wickedness. Let me tell you something. Scary, they're doing wickedness. And Scary thinking like the ball is rolling, and he knows he's rolling, and he cannot bat it. I give you a word there tonight there. Scary know he have a ball rolling right now, and the ball is on him. The ball is on him. He don't have to have a fight for Scary to come out from there. He don't have to have a fight. You don't have to fight for Scary to come out from there. We don't have to go and break Rosie, go out of the Rosie for Scary to come out from there. Just a little. And he has to just come and on the podium and say, Dominicans, I am living. Look what I have. Look what I take. I give it in it back. Grandbay people never get once a passport to sell. So that we can say, that man selling a passport for us in Grandbay. That man is a millionaire in Grandbay. Scary that is groups. Scary ni gang ni. Personne ne peut pas faire nos passeports. Personne ne peut pas tout pour le Parlement. Personne ne peut pas dire rien par Grandbay. La ville souhaite Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of the building in Loda. Yes, that is exactly no ministers for Grandbay. And Grandbay people, nous te pouvons tout ça nous faire là. Because nous avons formé société, et nous avons d'accord, mais ça dit, nous avons mal neuf enfants, mais ça dit, nous avons égouté. Et puis nous avons ça qui a fini, et puis nous avons ça nous avons passé là. Nous passons quelque chose à venir des gens, ça ne sont pas les ils ont filmé quoi dans ton cahier. Et puis ils ont regardé des photos, mais nous avons vu dans ce rodéa là. Ils ont filmé quoi dans ton cahier. Et puis quand ouais misère, quand souffle misère, parce que moi-même quand souffle misère tout. You know what I'm telling you? I see misery because when she did that morning, she has to go to Guadeloupe. You know what I'm telling you? Anybody that's speaking and say they're not seeing misery, they have somewhere else getting something. But I'm telling you, I am telling you, we have misery in that village. Because when certain people go to Rosie, everything is expensive. Everything is expensive in that country. We don't have nothing selling nowhere. Those Dominicans just there fighting. What they're fighting, they pay him back. They give him back. We cannot sell nothing. You see, anybody that's supporting that Dominican Labour Party right now, put your hands up and you're a wicked person. You are wicked for the country. And you will suffer. You have to suffer because tell you why you try to put our country behind. When for to go forward, you try to put us backward. Because let's do there, nous tout there. So you can get a power en patois. Là yon mouto gale gaga lo tout pour moi mouto ma sorti. When one ship is spoiled, like it spoiled all the others, but I'm not in it. I'm coming out right now. Because what we doing, Grandbay people, some of them that vote in Labour Party, they vote in it as a mischief. I'm telling you, I'm going live in Facebook, I'm telling it to them. Anybody that vote in Labour Party on the Roosevelt Scarrett administration, they vote in mischief. Because tell you why they vote in mischief. Because they themselves cannot work. Waiting for $200, $300 monthly. But we that they're paying the tax, we that giving it to them. So we taking that money and give it to them. So they have to suffer because you grind on the money. I cannot be working at the news a young man on you there, you lazy, and you're getting $400. Judgment that they're working, judgment that they're selling their drugs. Scary that them up. Pomalero, souffle. I'm telling you, before the carnival, Scary take a few drugs fellas and he make a meeting, a party at his home. And some of them ask for licensed firearms, you know. Some criminals. So you know when we start them doing things, it's criminal they back in because they say anything that come with a backer. Mais upani baka kaso. Upani baka. Tout ce baka, you only pour withdraw. You only pour withdraw. They have to withdraw. Because what happened that come in there, no guns in between, no firearms. Just the Lord. Just the Lord. Just the Lord. Just the Lord. Just the Lord with his angels. And you have to come cool like a lamb. Cool like a lamb. This can be rough, but it have to come calm. And I'm leaving you all with good night.
Okay, give the man a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That's a man with his foot on the ground. He can speak to what is on the ground, and that is where we are tonight. Now is the time for the Grandbay people to come forward. We have Mr. Alexander, I think you want to say something? Okay, so Grandbay is speaking now. Welcome the gentleman. I can't read the first name well, but I know it's Mr. Alexander. He'll tell you exactly who he is. Welcome, sir.
Yes, good night. Masaba, everybody, Masaba Alexander, that's me. And tonight, just want to reach out on some understanding, because I talk to a lot of people, and what I'm finding is a lot of people do not understand what's happening, because most people, their brains are on UWP and labor. So everything that happens, they are putting it in a corner. It's either UWP or labor. So when we talk about the reform for electoral reform, many people thinking it's a UWP thing. They're thinking that, hey, UWP got UWP who wants that to, you know what I'm saying, to get into power. And I'm trying to teach them that we have two constitutions. We have two constitutions, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. We have our Dominican Constitution, and the electoral reform is also a constitution. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. One is to lead and the other one is to guide. So if you cannot get guidance from electoral reform, then the constitution goes on the ground, because one must support the other. And that's one of the problems that we have in understanding the constitution. Now, talking about Grandbay, you know, I just want to take people back, because most of the times we talk about the milk and honey and those kind of things, and I'm saying, hey, Grandbay used to be portrayed as the baddest place in Dominica, where people used to tell you, I don't want to go to Grandbay. Grandbay people bad. And guess what has happened with the badness that Grandbay people have? They have used that against us in politics, where they have confused us and make us enemies to each other. So whenever we start talking to each other, we get into an argument, we get into a kind of enemy kind of things, because we're using the blood. We're using the blood against ourselves, and that's what they has put together for us. You go and talk to anybody from Grandbay who do not follow the correct politics. They will fight with you. They will call you names. They will denigrate you. They will do anything to put you down. Then the other thing that happens is most of the people in Grandbay, when they can't talk to you and get with you, they create enmity among you from all of the people in the area. And that is what's happening. So we have a thing where our greatest gift is to be an enemy to each other, to fight with each other, because we don't understand what's happening. And when it comes to talking to our rights, we are thinking our rights is a political party. And that is one of the problems that we have. And I think we need to start thinking now. We need to start thinking. Let's not, you know, after this meeting tonight, I'm hoping that Grandbay people will not think about politics. Let's forget about Labour. Let's talk about UWP and any other party. And let's start thinking Dominica. Let's start thinking Dominica and know that the freedom that you need, if you can't get it, then you are nothing. If you can't walk down the street and talk to your kids because the government is involved in your life, then you are nothing. If prices are rising, if the government don't put their foot down and correct the situation that are rising, that are causing the cost of living to rise, then we don't have a government. We have to have somebody in place that works for us at all times. And if we can't get somebody to work for us for all times, we might as well say we have nobody. And we got to stop that fighting, stop that Grandbay fighting, stop that political misunderstanding, and let's think about electoral reform and what we're going to do for ourselves, the independence we're going to create for ourselves, the farming, the all kind of businesses, whatnot and whatnot. As my time gets short, I want to say good night. Thank you very much. Masada.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Alexander. And yes, you have to be concerned about Grandbay, those of you in Grandbay. We need to stop the stench. We need to paint the youth community hall. We have to put employment in the place. The farmers, you have to see about them. The fishermen, the children at school. When you vote, that is what you vote for government to uplift in all those areas there. So be mindful of that. And we are moving on.
Hey, don't go back. Keep having the mic. Oh, why you can't go? Go.
Okay, yes, we're trying to speed up the program because we don't want you to be here too late. We have some little adjustments to make here. But yes, we're still on the open mic for Grandbay. Anybody, we can take one more very short because we have to bring in somebody before 7. Yes. Be short, sir, be short.
Yeah, good night. I'm originally from Maho, but the people of Grandbay, I have a few friends, Rastaman here. We already chat already. And they tell me how the system been Grandbay. And I know Grandbay wasn't so. Grandbay was striking. And we need Grandbay to come back and strike again. And let the youth and everybody come forward and strike. And in order for us to do that, we must go through the process of the electoral reform. We need our voter ID card. Because people in Haiti, they have their voter ID card. Antigua, all the other countries have it. Why? Haiti was the first country who fought and burst the chain in the slavery time. Now is our time to fight and burst that chain to get that electoral reform some way or the other, bend or break. If we have to bite the hand, we have to bite it. We need it. That's the only way Dominica can go forward. People, we need that to identify who we are and what we're voting for and what we're calling for. Because when you vote for somebody, you have the democratic right to walk to your pal rep and explain your issue of your community. And if you don't address it, you're supposed to mobilize your people and get him out there at any cost, like how Vince lived the people of Grandbay on their own. And poverty is in Grandbay, and it's hurt my conscience. I don't like it because they have had famine in Grandbay. Hard-working people, men and women. And trust me, they need proper representative for them to move forward. And in order to get that proper representative, I urge you the people and asking you the people of Grandbay to rally with us for this electoral reform and our voter ID card and the cleansing of the list so that we can move this country better and move this country forward, because this country is crying, it is suffering, it is bleeding because so many things damage. I do in famine, and the worst really side I come across is Roosevelt Scary. Good night.
Okay, give the man a round of applause, please. Yes, thanks for giving us that solidarity message. We want to give you some entertainment. Soul Post, you around? Soul Post, you ready for us? Soul Post, you ready? Yes. Alright, so Soul Post is going to give the people something. So we cannot just talk, we have to have a little entertainment so you can shake the waist a little bit, you know? Yes, I. Grandbay Massive, are you there? Yes. Massive Grandbay, are you there, is it? Yes. Alright, you don't know it's set already, you don't know it's a little college, so you can't hear the talking all the time. Electoral reform. We standing up for electoral reform and we maintain that. So there you have the music there. So shake a leg, you know, and do a thing. Are you afraid in this place? Grandbay people, are you afraid? We're not afraid. Margaret never afraid.
Yes, we do that organize. Let's say that to my brother. Entertainment. You don't call it, so it's a different thing. What happened in there? You have everything unlocked, my brother? You have everything unlocked, my brother? Goodbye! Amen. Okay, I'll have to do that again today. We live in a time when the you have a little technical difficulty there, I don't know what happened in there, so. Sit! Shake a little leg now. You have any problem, I'll do it so. So it's set. Volume. Believe in a time when the rulers of men are scornful of principles of godliness, wisdom and freedom. But woe, 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 woe comes swiftly. Whoa, 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 who comes quickly? Yeah, they use and abuse women, they raise no children, they live a life of wicked thoughts, corruption, embarrassment and shame. So in order to maintain power against the very forces of nature, they need to have the citizens living in fear. For there is your enemy. A man afraid to speak of what oppresses him, enslave himself to a man just like him. But be not afraid, for will come suddenly. I sing just as this longest road comes to a bend, so to the evil works of evil men bound to soon to come to an end. I sing good night. Godly men who don't care that the devil takes over their kingdom, they would kneel if they feel that they could cross a deed. But whoa, 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 whoa comes swiftly. Man, whoa, 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 whoa comes quickly. Yes. Now workers who want to please their employers and their bosses by victimizing their neighbor, because today their party is in power. But they know what they do is wrong, and it's weighing their conscience down, because all men know that no man knows the hour. Man, but be not afraid, for there is your enemy. A man afraid to speak of what oppresses him, enslave himself to a man just like him. afraid, for who comes suddenly. I see, just as this longest road comes to a bend, so to the evil works of evil men bound to soon to come to an end. I say, woman, anyone see King Dice here, me? Well, we are dapping to a way now, yes, sir. Grandbay, yes, sir? Be not afraid, man. Yes. In life and in the Bible, we have seen the fall of men of evil. They never learn, they believe they are in the next level. But who comes swiftly? Yeah! Who comes quickly? But the days are numbered, all the deeds are known. Their hate, their division, the anger, the poverty they have sown. But it's coming to harvest day, when the oppressed will have their say, when all those who hurt Grandbay people, they have to pay. Man, but be not afraid, for there is your enemy. See it? Love you, Grandbay. You don't understand? Alright, bless it.
Yes. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause, Dominica's talent. Man coming from way up in the north. A warrior, one of dedicated patriots of Dominica. Abundant talent, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we are offering you tonight. So thanks, Purpose. Thanks, we are sorry for the technical mishap, but we are still glad that we were able to give you something from the Soul Boost. Okay, so we are continuing, and we want to bring some women power in the house. We have been a lot of men, but I think we have Rosie Sparks, Rosie, Miss Rosie Felix, Mrs. Rosie Felix. If you are still around, I know she, yes. Very dynamite woman in the leadership of the resistance, very much in women development, a nurse by profession, a health practitioner. So I want to bring you a lady's voice in the house, a warrior, ladies and gentlemen, no other than Mrs. Rosie Felix. Give her a round of applause, please.
Thank you. Good night, Grandbay. Good night, Lale. Danny read a letter to the PM and the President, but I have a letter for you. I have a love letter for you, Grandbay. Are you ready? Thank you for your warm welcome of the ERC. Personally, I have been here in Grandbay and Lale several times. So, let's try that again. You heard I'm a nurse, I'm not a technician. So, we're trying that again. We good now? We good to go? We good to go take our electoral reform? They're not giving it to us, so we have to take it, Grandbay. And we want you on board. We cannot go forth without Grandbay. We need South City. I feel both free and safe to be here. Having come in this place as a little child, many of you don't know me, and I've been to Techmon for a long time. Anyways, tonight, I want to thanks to Q95 I know you are observing the 50th anniversary of the Geneva Uprising, during which you brought a real end to traditional slavery and in Grandbay and Dominica by extension. On that program, I also learned about the important part you played in the quest for Dominica's political independence. Who was there? Who else? Who else was with UNICEF and Perez? All right. So it is quite fitting to pick your brain and your conscience tonight and begin a conversation with you concerning breaking away from the return of slavery to our country and the serious threats to our freedom, our democracy, our economy, and the society. For context, here is what can be considered evidence of the return of slavery to Grandbay and Dominica and its threat to our democracy, freedom, and social well-being. Do you agree slavery come back to Grandbay? Slavery come back in more ways than one. It come back in some old ways and in some new ways. Here's what I mean. We have increasing unemployment and poverty. We have handout and cool out. Pan and Wagner, handout and cool out instead of jobs and proper pay for proper work or fair pay for fair work. NEP workers doing similar plantation work and not being paid adequately and on time. And on top of that, you pass a palais. Say yo pale, yo ka fire yo. Esa se vwe Gwambe. Ministers sexually abusing workers in exchange for handout, pull-outs, job or scholarship. In the time of slavery, the masters was doing that to the women. They were exploiting the women sexually. And that is what we have happening again. You have persecution of the political opponents, harassment of political activists. I put up a little plaster a little placard by the Negmawa and see a car of police come and drag it out. You would swear it's marijuana and cocaine they were ripping off and bringing it police station. Oppression and repression and large-scale victimization of non-government supporters is evidence of the modern slavery. Strategic, that is deliberate weakening, compromising, and in some cases, dismantling of public institutions. The more they talk about sustainable development goals, is the more they do everything not to achieve those goals. One of the sustainable development goals is strong institutions and peace. But in Dominica, toute institution, skarika dekale se institution la, ebe se mouna pa kapale, pis yo pe. Sa se modern slavery. Blatant disregard for the rule of law. One law for them and another for us. Cheating by voters on election day. But tout problem là c'est pas sécurité. And that problem là à election, c'est nous-mêmes qui ka cheat les nous ka vote. Nous need to stop ça. Bon. Creating bribing of voters before and on election day. Est so guilty got ça. Ebe ça. Ça c'est un problème. Ebe Bible la dit bribery pas bon. Puis accepter bribe qui ka fait avec. So many people talk about people in Dominica blind. Say, where we bribery qui avec Zokosa. Tout ça qui avec c'est bribery qui avec Dieu. Importation of voters to vote where they do not live, do not work, and pay taxes. That is the modern slavery. A voters list with more people than our population. You heard one of our speakers talk about that. No accountability and transparency by government where it matters the most. They're telling us what we don't want to hear, what that really don't matter. But they're celebrating the relationship with China. That is the new slavery. That is the modern slavery. In slavery days, you don't know what was happening in the master's house. Not true? We didn't know. Ever say, member guy jodila. You pakadinu. You can made nu pour vote you. Ever you pakadinu sa yo cafe. Not being allowed to participate in nominating your election candidate. And this is very pertinent to you, Grandbay. Very pertinent and specific. Because you have been given a Vince Henderson who neither originates from or lives among you. To my mind, that's a travesty, a gross disrespect to you, an abuse of power, a violation of democracy, and a major lapse on your part, Grandbay. Ça pas supposé jamais faire ça. So c'est un qui a dépendance, so fort, so savant, et bien so quitte ce qu'il so et bien Vince. L'autre jour la moitié c'est un nan qui t'a venu ici. Un nan qui t'a venu pour ça pas ouais. Ça pas supposé jamais faire ça accord à la vision. Political discrimination at the highest level. Unwarranted political interference in the police service, in the electoral commission, and in the court system. I could go on and on, but the point is, these are major reasons why we need electoral reform and why you, Grandbay, should join the campaign. Electoral reform promotes and facilitates freedom and democracy, while slavery takes them both away. Electoral reform empowers you to vote and support governments that bring economic and progressive development. It also empowers you to remove governments that take away your independence, take away your freedom, take away your democracy, and still take away your money. They're crippling the economy. That is a slavery problem. They want the money in their hands, but not in your hands. That's a modern slavery. Grandbay, take note. Grandbay, let me remind you. Let me remind your seniors and teach your youth what democracy is about. It is the right of citizens to participate in public matters. Equality and not discrimination. Having and embracing our constitutional and human rights and not allowing others to violate them, including those at the top. Nipal rep ni tout moun kan violate tout rights no ever so la kan quitte marché avec ça pas faire Grandbay. Free and fair elections, which is the main reason we're here tonight. One man, one vote. One woman, one vote. For goodness sake, let the dead rest in peace. Stop bringing dead people to vote. Accepting no bribe in exchange for your vote. Cleaning our voters list to reflect only those eligible to vote. And our voter ID cards. Grandbay, what is the reason they give you why they don't want to give voter ID cards? Somebody answer me. Why they don't want to give the voter ID cards? Exactly. When this was having choices to vote on election day, free and fair court system, political tolerance, and not persecution of the opposition, control over the abuse of power, freedom of economy, money in your hand to do your business. Your young girls shouldn't go to beg. Your young men shouldn't go to beg. All of these are additional reasons why we need electoral reform in Dominica, and you in Grandbay, a strong and once economically progressive South City. This is why you should join the campaign. An aspect of electoral reform that I would like to impress on your mind tonight is that which requires a shift in your mindset and an injection of integrity and justice in your hearts. Also, an injection. What do I mean? Electoral reform is meant to help us arrive at the government best suited for the job. So raise your voice and support the cause, Grandbay. Electoral reform promises benefits that last beyond election day. So raise your voice and support the cause, Grandbay. Electoral reform is bigger than political parties and their leaders and supporters. It is international interventions for safer, democratic, and more progressive societies. So Grandbay, raise your voice and support the cause. Electoral reform is a guarantee for the future of your children, those at school, those now being born, those yet conceived. It is security for their dreams. In other words, protection from dream killers like Roosevelt's carried. So Grandbay, raise your voice with us to support electoral reform. Finally, as I close, quittez-moi disons sigwe. Grandbay, moi aime pas toison, mais moi pas sa parler. Moi aime belles hommes, mais moi pas sa danser. Moi aime musique zone, mais moi pas sa chanter. Moi ani aime cool trésor tout bonnement. Mais ça pas tout. Moi aime ça tout, puis ça c'est moun qui fort. Ça aime travail wed. Ça gourmet pour adépadas. Et puis ça c'est un monde qui savent. Quand même, il y a sam qui ont dormi. Enfin, autant moun a dormi. C'est pour cette cause nous venons ici au soir. Peace et sablage à pas la patte nous encore. Et puis à des padas nous à toi cas. À nous lever pour sauver Dominique. Et ça nous guabé. À nous lever pour sauver Dominique nous. Bonsoir to Grandbay with love.
Yes, merci. Let's hear it for the sister Rosie, Felix, ladies and gentlemen. Levez Guabé! Levez Dominique! Levez Guabé! Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we are winding down the program. We have some big speakers and we have the 10-time dice in the house. So we coming down. We have the big guns now. The big guns. I've been in search for Mr. Linton. I saw he was around. Just to alert you, Mr. Linton, if you are hearing me, stand by. We will be calling on you in a while. But yes, levez, moun guabe, you know, and
we had the 1 minute silence for our deceased comrades, but as well we want to recognize those who are still standing, ladies and gentlemen. I must thank the Grandbay group with whom we have been working to make this exercise, this event possible. Want to thank people like John Baptist John Holday, and of course we have other stalwarts we want to mention, continuing the culture, continuing the resistance, continuing the fight. We want to mention John Roach. We want to mention John Baptist John. We would like to mention Adi Henderson, Willie Favre, Amo Thomas, Asa Banton, Crispin Gregoire, Michelle Henderson, Avon Kazemi, ladies and gentlemen. We want to mention the big culture man Chubby and the Midnight Groovers, ladies and gentlemen. These are the people keeping Grandbay going, ladies and gentlemen, in arts, in culture, in organization, and in leadership. So we want to pick them up in a very special way. There are, of course, maybe those we may have missed, but all of you contribute to the Grandbay heritage, and we are pleased to mention you tonight as we move forward with the fight for electoral reform. So as I said, we are moving into the big guns, and at this point in time, I would like to invite the man from the valley. Oh, sorry, I stepped in a little too much in front, ladies and gentlemen. We want to bring a man from the soil, Colette, from Grandbay, to address you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sorry about that, Colette.
Yes. Let me first give thanks to the king that cannot be dethroned. And let me big up the organizers for putting this program together. I respect you all. Yes, Mungwabe. Motepukawe pli Mungwabe la oswea. Nubuzoe pli Mungwabe la oswea. Because we all are hurting. All of us hurting. Lobster, I will call your name Lobster for this brilliant song. We are bleeding inside and they don't talking. Grandbay people, if you believe in righteousness and truth, you're supposed to support election reform. This country and this village have been deformed. We all know how Dominican Grandbay used to be. And the only way we can reform our country and our village is by make sure we have election reform. If not, we won't go nowhere. We all have to support election reform. People, don't pay attention to the messenger, but just listen to the message. I am here tonight to talk on the behalf of the people that are afraid of talking. I know they want to talk, but I am not immune. I will talk. I talking on the behalf of money and love of community, the future of my children. Mungwabe, a patron Mogabazoy. C'est pas les bords qui là. Si c'était les bords qui là, les bords pas qui fait Gwambe ça. Yo ka servi non les bords comme c'est Chinese là ka servi là comme ça les t-shirts pour aucun. C'est pas les bords pas qui fait Gwambe ça, mon gars vertiso. On soit ouvert l'esprit et de faire une autre décision. Mon gars vertiso souple au soya. Please listen attentively. Stop accepting a piece of fish. Ask them to teach all you to fish. Because when you give me a piece of fish, and I come back tomorrow and you tell me, hold on. Can I go home and tell my 7-year-old daughter, hold on? Can I do that? We used to be independent and free, vibrant in this community. We all know that. And now I see my community become living like we are on welfare. That need to stop. Our ancestors are turning in their grave. They are turning because they never believed in handouts. They was independent and free. Where did that handout came from now? Where did that handout came from? The Grandbay people that are in the community and those that are abroad that support the movement, the free movement. Now you all are turning and support corruption. I cannot believe that. That's a shame. That's not who we used to be. UNICEF come and liberate us from Nazi under slavery. And all you agree to be politically enslaved? Grandbay people, I have a lot to say tonight, you know. But I won't get the chance to say the amount of things I want to say tonight. Even in the cricket game, watch cricket today, using cricket as an example. Cricket have reform. You know why? Because the supporters on both sides never satisfied with the umpire decision. That's why they bring third umpire. Third umpire stands like election reform. The third umpire is like election reform. Because third umpire is giving it to you on the screen slowly, and you will see for yourself and satisfy. My people, don't grudge us or judge us. We the people that standing up for righteousness. We are standing strong. Hamburg put himself forward when that man disrespect Grandbay. He did not call Grandbay people stupid directly, but indirect. Grandbay don't have what it takes to represent Grandbay. And see the type of people that roll with that. People I used to look as models, examples that throw their dream in the drain. We should have support Grandbay. Hamburg put itself forward to represent Grandbay. It was not Hamburg. It was about Grandbay. But all you misunderstood. All you misunderstood. I am warning you all tonight. This is a message. All those who hate to love me and love to hate me, I love you. I love all you. That's why I'm talking on the behalf of all you. I don't need to talk for me to eat. You all know that. I'm talking on the behalf of Grandbay because I love Grandbay. And it's hurting to see the state Grandbay become. Night and day, Grandbay is under curfew. We all know that. It's true. We can change that if we come together. We need to come together and support election reform. Election reform is not for no political party. Election reform is for the country. An important thing like putting somebody to represent your affairs, your country. You're not supposed to identify yourself. Huh? An important thing like putting somebody to represent your country, running your affairs. You're supposed to identify yourself to do that. That's why I support election reform. And by the way, let me all tell you all something. Kole is not attached to no political string. Kole is free. I used to support Labour, but that is not Labour. That's why I backed down. If it was Labour that they had the Labour had known before, Grandbay would not be in that state. Grandbay and Dominica in extension. We all know that. Monsieur Mungwabe se parler beaucoup là. Si c'est en 2004, PM vini là comme ça après, hero nous mort. Eh bien, il dit Mungwabe pour jamais taper rien en bas Labour Party. This time 3/4 of the cake, not even the bits of the cake we get. What it have to take for you all Grandbay people to realize, or you don't know what is love and who love all you? Huh? Or you don't know who love all you and what is love? Huh? So all you taking hate for love, I know what is love. I love you all, that's why I'm talking. This man that holding office in Dominica don't love Grandbay. Just to tell us, the bridge have been the same way it is. We are locked down. We have to pass right, wrong to go to just their dailies. If that man had loved us, so we would used to be, so we would be, sorry. Huh? Grandbay people, I'm talking about the people that in the housing also. The people that in the housing in Grandbay. We fought, UNICEF, we fought for that land. And it is our land. And our money that build this apartment. Don't let them and scare you and prevent all you from talking. Nobody can put all you out there. We will stand up for all you. We will stand up. No one cannot put out nobody in this apartment over there. That is our land and our money. What I am demanding for right now, if you love them as they love you, give them a title. If you love them, PM, it's not an attack, you know. I'm not attacking nobody. I'm just speaking the truth to power. If you love your supporters that love you, so you said that Grandbay people have been loyal to you for 17 long years. Have you been loyal to us? Hein? Jordi, ou tapé quand vous venez l'église? Combien de temps nous pas ouais, vous venez l'église Jordi? Hein? Hein? Now, Mr. Vince Henderson, that is Minister of Funeral. Mr. Vince Henderson is Minister of Funeral. All he do is attend funerals. We don't need a pal rep like that. And I have never accepted him as my pal rep. Grandbay people, if that PM had love, we Grandbay people. See how big Ed Regis the pass win. And they never give him a ministry. That means nous parlez zo. Grandbay have all what it takes to represent Grandbay. All what it takes, just name it. When I raise small in Grandbay, name it and you will find it. They say, see how we come in Grandbay, now as the young man is saying. Gade vale moun ki out of Grandbay ki vini la sipote. Ebe makawe moun Grandbay. Zoka sewe, sa son honte. Maka sewe. Moka pale ba zo, on le biya zo. Stop hiding. And some of you have something saying that, me, I'm not in it now. When you go in this shop, you in it. Because the pound of sugar, all of us buying it, the same price. So you are in it. And let me tell you something. Politics decide how you eat, how you drink, how you sleep, and how you live. Tonight is just a fraction of what I wanted to say. But time is short. I have to let somebody else talk. I will come again. I want another program like this because there is a lot on my heart I want to see. And I know a lot of all you inside all the home happy that I am talking tonight on the behalf of all you. We need a change in Grandbay. Good night, my people. I love you.
Yes, well said, well said. Give the man a big round of applause. Give the man a big round of applause. A man from the ground, ladies and gentlemen. Couldn't be said better, couldn't be said better. Brother well informed, And the people of Grandbay, you have nothing to fear, ladies and gentlemen. All of you in your houses, wherever you are, and we hope you are looking at us, you are hearing us. We are on Q95, put on your televisions. We are on Facebook with Loftus Jura. So yes, inform yourself, educate yourself, and it couldn't be better said from the brother touching the hearts of the Grandbay people. There's nothing to fear. The resources of the state doesn't belong to one man. All of us contribute in our taxes. We pay the taxes. So yes, we are moving on. We have a few more speakers and a few things to tidy up. So we are moving on, and right now, yes, Ronald Charles, yes, the same Ronald Charles from the Valley, we are bringing him to you, representing yes, Ronald Charles, yes. You are invited to the podium soon.
Call me when you're ready.
Hey, sorry, yes, well, I didn't pick that up, but yes, I said Ronald Charles representing the UWP, but Mr. Ronald Charles, as you know, is the deputy political leader of the United Workers' Party. So it is in that capacity that he's addressing you this evening. Yes, Mr. Charles.
Good evening to Grandbay, Sakafret. Grandbay people, are you here? Okay, give me, I am happy to be here this evening. I'm happy because we all are Dominicans. I want to bring warm regards from the political leader, Dr. Thompson Fontaine, who will be addressing you. Put your hands together for Dr. Thompson Fontaine. Let me speak to you, and I shift in the podium a little because I want to do it properly. Ladies and gentlemen, the first question we need to ask ourselves is why electoral reform? Let us think about this for 1 minute. Why electoral reform? Electoral reform because you have the freedom to vote for any government you decide to vote for. Why electoral reform? Because over 15 years we've been asking for a change in the system, because you know that for the past years elections have been rigged. Why electoral reform? Because you know, as Jean Grandbay, when you go into your fridges and you look at your bank account, things are rough. And you will know, over the past days, the IMF was here in Dominica. I am not an economist, but I can tell you, in the next couple months, things are going to be rough. And that is why Grandbay have to stand up. Electoral reform is important for the next generation to come. It is important for your children to have a choice. When government make you cry, you must discipline them. And now is the time to do it. Now is the time to stand up and let us do what we have to do as a people. The United Workers' Party, the Pierre Charles Secondary School, was built under a government that understood the people come first. The Tailish Road from Lapland to here used to take us 15 minutes because they understood the importance of communication and that the farmers can bring their produce to the market with ease. And that is what responsible governments do. And I can tell you, the wind is coming fast and furious. And that is why electoral reform is important to us. We cannot continue to stand up and let things pass by. Look at our young people that are employed. They can't get a loan. They can't go and study. They can't save. They cannot do nothing under the NEP program because it was not done properly. Why on earth do you have to work and you cannot take your salary, go to the bank and get a loan and buy a car like all the others in the government and what they do? Our children deserve better. Our children deserve a new start. And that is why Mark Tutu must come back to you. Because she stood up for what is right, equal rights and justice. No more slavery. And that is why I want you to stand for the right thing. This is the third largest community in Dominica in terms of population. You have brought brilliant minds to include Dr. Liverpool, Chubby, Asa, just name it, Henderson. And of course, one of the best prime ministers we had was Mr. Pierre Charles, who had a heart of gold. And therefore you have to stand up. You make things happen as a people. You bring the change that needs to come to us. You bring the change like wind from Grandbay to the rest of this wonderful nation. That's why we need you. We need your support. Now what do you do? What's next for Grandbay? What's next for Grandbay is to tell the incumbents that you need a break. You are tired and we need to move on for the betterment of people in this country. Why on earth a young person who works under the NEP program cannot come here, listen to something different and make up their mind and listen to people speak? And if they do that, you're going to tell them that they lose a job next day? And this is the kind of country we should be living in? Our young people have to learn to stand up. Our young people have to learn to speak truth to power. And you, Grandbay, we have to do it as a team. So where do we go from there? Where do we go from there? We go now for you to be the advocate for electoral reform. Because we need to have a level playing field. And if you're playing football and you have 12 players and I come with 8, obviously you have an advantage. Especially when the referee also playing on your team. We cannot afford for this to happen. You need to speak to your neighbors. Because sometimes communication gets better when you speak to your neighbor. And we must understand that Dominica needs us. Dominica needs us now. There's no more turning back and people being afraid to speak. Afraid to speak for what? Because somebody is going to pass around with a little piece of paper bag and they will promise you something. Or like what I just heard, they will come to church the day before somebody else is going to tell you something that they should be doing. So we have to stand up as a people. And the United Workers' Party continue to be there for you. We continue to steer the ship. And we continue to do what we need to do to bring Dominica in a better place. And when I conclude, or as I conclude, let me say to you, in conclusion, as Chubby said, bring back the American honey.
honey. And that is what we have to do for a better Dominica, is to bring back the milk and honey. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Ronald. The man from the valley, the same Ronald Charles, a dynamic young man who has put himself forward to work for his community and to work for Dominica, and is very much involved with the electoral reform in terms of our planning and our organization. So we want to thank you, Mr. Charles. Let's hear it big time. Let's hear a round of applause for Mr. Charles. Yes, and we want to just give our people a check. Those of you listening on the queue, those of you listening on Facebook, on Lofty's page, wherever you can hear us, we want to thank you for your attention, and we hope that you are enjoying the program as we bring it to you live and direct from the Lally in South City. So we are moving forward. We have a recording from a man of the soil. Can we have that? We have Mr. Ralph Al Cendor, Ralph Al Cendor, a man of the soil, and we would like to bring you a message from Mr. Ralph at this point in time. Yes, are we coming on? Okay, and then we will have very soon Mr. Bernardito, and followed by Mr. Lennox Linton. So yes, are we having Mr. Al Cendor? And Siri, if you're around, Siri and Miss Dangle, we have you down. After Mr. Lennox Linton will entertain a couple local voices, so you will have your turn. We have you down on the program.
Local voices, I'm a queen.
Okay. So are we ready for Mr. Al Cendor? Okay, well, we are moving on. We'll hold back on Mr. Al Cendor. Our YouTube seems to be giving us a little problem. Siri, are you close by? Yes, Siri. We will have Mr. Ito after Siri. So Siri, we want to bring you a man from the southeast or the south Bagatelle, and they need to connect or reconnect Petit Savan to Daly's, because I can tell you, had that road in Petit Savan been connected, we would have crowds of people here from La Plaine, from Daly's, from Grand Fort, ladies and gentlemen. But you know, things are tight, and it's a far travel for these people. And this is why they are not here with us in numbers physically. So this is part of the degradation of the South. A government has come in, open a road that has brought in a lot of economic activity and improved the communication between the various hamlets. It was very facilitative for the the Dominica Essential Oils and Spices Cooperative in enabling their members ease of travel for their annual general meeting, ladies and gentlemen. And this is no more, going back many years. So I sure Siri will speak about that, so we want to welcome Siri to the podium this evening.
Bien bonsoir mon Grandbay, mon ka écouter à la radio, à la télé, par la internet, c'est un grand président là. Avec juste parler des Timo, 4 paroles parce que dans la coute, il y a des gens qui ne voient loin, et bien ils ont essayé de speeder. Avec nous là pour une raison nous là pour, c'est pour voir le message là aller. Electoral reform. C'est pour ça nous là au soir là. Et bien, à quoi est-ce que ça t'y parce que si ou ka représenter peuple là. Et peuple là qui demandé en bagaille ou supposé délivrer par peuple là. Nous partons pour leur soir pour activité simple. On bite tout pays qui a fait sans problème. So, si pas un défaut, and then, ou déjà fait. Si vous pas fait, c'est parce que il y a un défaut. Ou quand servir une manière hier, et vous savez manière hier, il y a un problème. Ou quand vous représentez le peuple là commandé pour faire un réforme, ou quand délivrer le peuple là. Parce que c'est le peuple là qui a mis là. Si vous avez un pays là, ou quand vous faites un pays là, le peuple là qui vient mettre là. Ou ne pouvez pas aller dans le reste là, vous avez 20 mètres devant, et le reste c'est vous derrière. Tout le monde supposé commencer derrière la ligne là. So, vous va profiter en laissant ou j'agisse devant ou à cette gain et vers tout l'est derrière. C'est une activité simple de tout ces gens qui m'ont dans la liste là. Tout le monde pour gentil Haïti puis ça a voté. On nous fait ça, activité simple, nous ne pouvons pas battre comme nous et faire scary pour ça. Bon, ça va faire d'abord ça nous. Il pas qu'elle paye parce qu'il a servi ça pour sa voler. C'est tout simple. C'est une activité simple. Nous devons regarder télé, nous devons aller bitch après-midi. Nous l'avons gourmet pour une activité simple, tout le pays a fait. C'est pas ça là où sont volés, nous d'accord où sont volés parce que vous parlez où j'habite la droite puis pas ni voler. C'est un activité simple. So allez tout le monde dit que vous sont volés. Parce que toi qui là pour voler, on parle boucher. Ou les quitter toi pour continuer à passer. Pourquoi vous ça là? À nous boucher toi pour voler pas passer, d'autres voleurs qui sont venus pas passer encore, et la vie continue à vivre belle. Quand tu t'es bagaille ou quoi faire Dominique, ou quoi faire airport, ou quoi faire mon caille, ou pas rien pour paix, c'est manger ça bah l'argent peuple aller. Et bien, vous avez une élection parce que vous avez le bagaille. Si vous pouvez bien mettre, si vous ne pouvez pas dire wow. Mais quand vous avez bagaille, vous avez fait, et vous parlez où manger, l'argent peuple aller. C'est quand vous payez, il n'y a que vous payez. Est-ce qu'il y a une injection pour aller répondre là où vous sortez là? Est-ce qu'il y a une bagaille où vous volez ou que vous menez vivre? Nous passons. So, on fait un gamin de scary. Tout le monde qui a du bout à côté, qui a bénéficié de notre pays là, et qui n'a pas de sortir là. Bon, nous avons rangé l'élection réforme parce que c'est pas ça nous avons point. Et pour nous point, et bien il n'y a pas de faire chose. Si vous avez volé l'élection, le peuple a commandé pour ranger l'élection réforme là. Vous pouvez garder sur papier d'autres manières, vous avez toujours volé. C'est ça pour nous faire attention. Là, vous avez venir éveiller pour mieux éviter nous pour garder. Qui manière ça voler encore? C'est ça qui est important là. Qui manière ça voler encore? Et bien si yo qui manière nous avons ça voler encore, nous avons arrêté pour ça vieillir manger encore. C'est ça qui doit être là. Il faut toujours être debout. Parce que yo qui vient de m'habiter. Vous habitez là, yo qui vient là pour nous garder or là yo ça voler. Parce qu'il ne faut pas y pester tout, yo ça passer. Faut tout le monde passer la porte là pour entendre la caille là. Nous avons été ensemble, mouvement là, ça c'est un bon mouvement, nous sortis, nous venons, nous avons mené toute commission là, où on Dominique, nous avons parlé, nous avons éduqué ces gens là. Nous avons éduqué ces gens là, parce que vous savez, China n'a pas une élection. China n'a pas une élection. Est-ce qu'il y a eu China comme ça? Et si China est comme ça, China n'a pas que les sorti là, parce que est-ce qu'il y a eu des facilités? So là où c'est Chinese qui a poussé bagaille Dominique, faut nous poser une question. Faut nous poser une question. Parce que jusqu'à présent, MOU, nous pouvons pas connaître. Nous pouvons pas connaître MOU, hein. So China a tout bout d'escarite, paie l'école, paie si paie ça. Politique China a joué l'escarite. Pour dire que le peuple qui aime, il y a que nous pas faire bagaille pour nous quitter là. Il y a un bagaille nous pas connaître, il faut nous connaître. Et bien, il nous connaissons seulement les scary qui sont sortis là. Nous, nous avons l'électoral reform là. pour nous gagner en bonne élection, là, on gagne, yo gagne net et propre. Et bien, où c'est mon qui paye? Mon gars, d'accord, des fois, il faut nous garder vite là. Parce que, faut garder, si vous n'avez pas travaillé NIP, eh bien, il finit là. Eh bien, il y a fait peu de travail. On nous considère moun. Parce que là, un petit, il y a besoin. Bon, ça, faut nous garder pour nous faire cette version, moun là, ça. Il pas que venir, il pas que ça venir là. Bon, il pas que votre gouvernement. C'est ça, faut nous garder. Il faut nous balancer. Nous, quel est le venir, il peut travailler. Quand nous, pas ça va y aller. Bon, ou pas venir, bon, on tient que le gouvernement pas bon, et on va tirer là. C'est ça pour nous garder pour sortir mon là. Pour nous éduquer, que on passe à venir, d'accord. Bon, est-ce que vous faites l'idée pour tuer le gouvernement? Oui. Et ça nous besoin. Et ça nous besoin. Et bien ça, il y a quelqu'un qui pense que c'est mon ça pour eux. Bon, c'est mon ça pas pour eux. Et bien c'est là nous allons péter. Donc pour nous éduquer ces gens, éduquer, pas obligé de finir. À quoi vous veillez? Parce que les mots ont fini, mais ça va y aller. Vous voyez? Bon, il faut nous éduquer. Et il faut nous assurer que chercher le gouvernement, pour mettre le gouvernement, bah, peuple à pays là, pour les peuples là qui demandent pour bagaille, pour le gouvernement faire, bah, peuple là, et bien, il va ça il est. Merci beaucoup.
Yes, merci, monsieur Siri. Merci pour ça. Mon parler patois là pour patois moi-même, c'est un patois qui l'aide. Pour mon parler, oui, moi-même pas aller si pas patois là, mais c'est un bon leçon, nous taper la haute série. Mon âme guabé, il faut langage patois là, c'est un bon bagage pour communiquer. Pour tout le monde, ça nous va parler contre cela. Et puis, juste ça, il laisse là, il base là, c'est pas fait. Nous avons dit finalement, oui, il y a des problèmes, on va travailler bien, oui, tout ça, mais il y a des problèmes, moi, on report, il y a des bagailles qui ont consigné NIP. Qui a gardé l'aide, nous pas ni pour faire, nous tout à the même bagaille, same thing we're experiencing, all of us have the same problems, so we have to unite, put ourselves together to get what we want for Dominica. So we are moving on, we are still not ready with Mr. Ralph Al Cendor. Now it's for me to introduce to the podium Mr. Bernard Ito. Mr. Bernard Ito is the political leader of the Dominican Freedom Party. He is very hardworking in the Electoral Reform Coalition grouping. So it's my pleasure to bring to the podium Mr. Bernard Ito, political leader of the Dominican Freedom Party. Mr. Ito.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It is my real pleasure, of course, to be here in Grandbay. I remember the last community work I did in Grandbay was actually with your former parliamentary representative. We were working very hard together, Ed and I, to re-establish in the early 90s the National Youth Council. And that was a man that I worked very hard with in this community. And he was a key man to help us re-establish the National Youth Council in Dominica. So I am well familiar with working in the Grandbay community, although many people here may not remember me. So I am very happy to be here. And my Hello? Yeah, okay. We have a little technical difficulty. But yes, as I was saying, Washburn said his patois is very lead. Well, mine is even more lead. I'm not sure if it's a word called leather, but it certainly is. But I can assure you, Mr. Pali patois, Mr. Kapun, tout ça qu'a dit à patois. But But why are we here? I think it's very important to ask this question. Why did the opposition forces come to Grandbay? What are we doing here? Why was this so important to us? I will tell you why it is so important to us. Because in my mind, and I think in many Dominicans' mind, and not just in our mind, in reality, Grandbay is a very, very special community. As I drove into Grandbay here, I saw the cross right there. And you know the history of that cross? You know the history that that cross represents? That cross represents to me the very spirit of Grandbay, the spirit of resistance. Because that cross was established when the Kalinago, do you know that Grandbay was the first community that was really established to start Dominica as a nation? Dominica, the Geneva Estates and all those surrounding estates was the first communities established by those who came from Martinique to establish Dominica. So in a very real way, Grandbay, Dominica started right here. And you tend to forget that. And that cross up there represents that history. Because the Kalinago people at the time who were here, who owned Dominica, when the Spanish came in and tried to establish, they said they fought back. Because they put up a cross, a wooden cross, and every time they put it up, they would tear it down, they would attack those people who were trying to do that, and finally they had to put up a wooden cross. But that shows you that Grandbay started, and this area, to me, this is a sacred space. This area represents a spirit of resistance from the very beginning of Dominica's history. And every time you see that cross up there, remember that spirit of Grandbay's ability to be resistant to those who would oppress Grandbay, to those who would suppress Grandbay, to those who would take away that spirit from Grandbay. So that is why we're here tonight, you know. Because Grandbay represents a spirit and a passion and a courage and a creativity to me that is a special thing in Dominica. Few places in Dominica represents that spirit of resistance, that spirit of passion, that spirit of creativity. And that is why we are here in Grandbay tonight, to capture, to feed upon, to be part of that special spirit of Grandbay that animates this country. Grandbay is a very special place, as I said, in 1690. Almost 300 years ago, Grandbay was fighting for its rights. And it's because of Grandbay that Dominica became a colony and eventually independent nation. You should be very proud of that history. Embrace that history. But not just the history. Embrace the spirit of that history. But Grandbay didn't stop there, you know. In 1975, Grandbay reformed land legislation across Dominica when it fought the Geneva Estate to reform how land was allocated. And they were brave people. They stood up and said, we will not accept the status quo anymore. We want a change in our country. And they fought for that. Not only did they fight for it, they went to jail for it. Do you all know that song, Puyokoko by Chubby? What do you think that song is about? Because all of those guys, Chubby included, were sent to jail in 1975 for their part in protesting against the oppression and the unfairness of land allocation in Dominica. And so, how did Grandbay respond? Were they afraid? They responded with creativity, and they created one of the most iconic songs in Dominica's repertoire of music. Puyokoko is an iconic song, but it's not just good entertainment. It captures the very spirit of Grandbay to resist, and not just to resist creatively, to resist with courage, with passion, and to then create something new and glorious out of something bad. And that is what impresses me most about Grandbay. That is the thing that is most impressive to me about Grandbay. The ability to take something bad, transfer it digest it, and to make something new. And so that is why we're here tonight. Because that is the spirit, that is the character, that is the passion that we need to transform our country at this point in time. And we are at a crucial point in time. Grandbay has been stripped of its spirit, stripped of its independence, reduced to a vassal state, if you will, reduced to a state that depends on handouts. And I cannot believe that a community with that kind of history, that a community with that kind of spirit, that a community with that kind of passion and creativity, something new is always coming out of South City. I cannot believe that that spirit can be so easily suppressed. It may be halted for a minute, as it seems to be now, but I do not believe that that spirit can be suppressed for much longer. I believe the time is now when Grandbay must say, we want to be an independent people again. We want to be a passionate people again. We want to use our creativity to create a new economy for ourselves. And Grandbay are very intelligent, capable people. You can create a new economy. We can rescue this country. And so that is why we are here tonight. Because nobody represents, in my mind, the passion, the resistance, the creativity that we need to transform our country. Because at this time in history, our country desperately needs to be transformed. Our country needs to be rescued. Because what we are fighting for tonight is not just electoral reform, you know, my friends. We are actually fighting for the very soul of Dominica. We are fighting to say, what will Dominica be? What kind of country will we be? Will we be the sort of country that's controlled by one man, that decides how we live, that decides how we die, that decides how much money we make? It is arrogance. Yeah. Will we be that sort of country, or will we transform into a country where there's opportunity for everybody? For you, for your children, where people get what they deserve, a fair system, a fair judicial system where you do not get justice based on who you are, but justice based on what is reasonable and right by law. My friends, that is what we're fighting for in this country right now. That is the critical thing that we're trying to transform this country by now, and that is why we're in Grandbay. Because if any place has the spirit of resistance, the spirit, the passion, the creativity to transform our country, it is in Grandbay. And we want to embrace that spirit. We want to pull that spirit into the struggle. Because we're in a new struggle. Remember what I told you. Who started Dominica? It was right here in Grandbay the first estates were established, and Grandbay started the whole idea of a Dominican nation. But now we need a new idea of a Dominican nation. The idea of our Dominican nation has been degraded, has been subjugated, has been demolished, and we have to start over again to pick ourselves up and to re-establish a new nation, a new vision, a new reality of who we must be as a country. And that is why Grandbay is so important to that struggle. You started it over 300 years ago. You need to start it again today. We are depending on you, Grandbay. You can ignite the spark that transforms our country into a new country. And that is why we are here. We are not just here for electoral reform. We are fighting for Dominica's soul, Dominica's spirit, the passion of ourselves to be self-determined people, to use creativity to transform our world. And nobody does that better than Grandbay, my friends. Nobody does that better than Grandbay. And that is what we're here today. And we will not be here just one time. We will be back. We will embrace you. We want you to inspire us as we try to capture your ideas and articulate it at a national level. Grandbay, we appreciate your history. We embrace your spirit of resilience, resistance, passion, and creativity. May we go forward to create a new nation, my friends. We look forward to it. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Ito. Well said, Mr. Ito. We are attempting and embracing the spirit of the resilience of the Grandbay people as we move forward with this business of electoral reform. So let's hear it from Mr. Ito once again. Let's hear it, let's put your hands together. Ladies and gentlemen, give yourself a big round of applause. I have good news for you, ladies and gentlemen. We are all over the World Wide Web, ladies and gentlemen. We are being streamed by Lofty Durant, and we have restreaming right now. And Imo is with us, ladies and gentlemen. DNO is live with us, ladies and gentlemen, as we speak to you this evening. The Civic Vibe is restreaming live, ladies and gentlemen. And the Q95 is also restreaming from Lofty Jura, streaming this evening. So I can inform you, without a shadow of a doubt, we have 1,000 viewers and listeners, ladies and gentlemen, following our proceedings on the World Wide Web through the various media platforms, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Linton, is Mr. Linton close by? We have been trying to identify Mr. Linton. Mr. Linton, if you are close by and you are hearing us, please draw closer to the podium. But I think right about this time, we can bring you the message from Mr. Ralph Al Cendor. So we'll entertain you with that message, ladies and gentlemen.
Under the current situation we are facing in these troubled times, Grandbay, let me say to you, you are always on my mind. Whether I am in the battlefield or whether I am out there overseas, deployed, taking care of business, I always have Grandbay on my mind because you molded me to be who I am today. But today it's not about me, Grandbay, it's about you. And I want you to focus exactly on what I am pointing to. Grandbay, you are not getting the fair share of the pie that you helped baked under the Roosevelt's carrot regime. Grandbay, you are not being recognized for who you are. The great revolutionaries, the one who have had revolutions and bring success for the acquisition of land that was taken away from you by Nazis. Grandbay, I want you to recognize that you have never been given your fair share for the votes and the loyalty you have given to this regime that seem to marginalize you, brutalize you with their police, and always give you the crumbs of their table while they are getting rich, richer, and richer. So today I am asking you as a people, think of the children of tomorrow, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. It is not about you, it is not about me. It is about Grandbay community getting ready for a new 50 year that many of us may see and many of us may not. Nevertheless, it is your moral responsibility to stand firm on what is true and what is right. And you and I know for sure you have not gotten a fair share from the Roosevelt's carrot cabal. And I can only give you a few hints. They built a police station in an area where we would envision a school, a university, a technical college, where our children would be educated to learn whether it's engineering, electrical work, electronic, welding, you name it. You have the potential to be great great workers in these fields. However, the current government did not see it fit for you to be having such a university at where was once our best area in the village, an agricultural station at the center. Instead, what they did, they built a police station to incarcerate you and also have the police squad at any given moment to come up to the village and the community to brutalize you and to do the things that they think it is for their leader and not for you. Grandbay, this is the time for a new revolution, a revolution to stamp out corruption that is taking place in the nation and that is stealing so much from you. It is the time when you will have to determine, not through violence, but through the minds and determination that enough is enough, and you do not want one man, Roosevelt's carrot, to dictate to you who should lead you. You have shown in the past that we've had great leaders. You've provided this nation with a prime minister. You've provided this nation with a president. You've provided this nation with good power reps. So I am asking you to start getting together and formulate some plan to have a new revolution. Stand firm and tell this government you will not settle for mediocrity anymore. You will not settle for the crumbs anymore. You deserve more than that for the loyalty, the votes, the rallies you've attended. You've done enough. Sakis, you are a part of the community. You need to help. Go out there and beat your drums in the village and let the people know the time is now when you need total recognition for the loyalty you've given to this government. These things cannot happen unless you have honest electoral reform. Because with electoral reform, you will have the playing field where everyone's vote is counted. You will have a playing field where irregularities and shenanigans during the election will be eliminated if you are honest and you really want good governance for Grandbay. It is a time when you have demand the government to provide funds for your roads to your garden, to provide funds to help your schools, provide the supplies, to help the medical center where you go if there is an urgent need for medical care. It is the time when you need to revolt, and this is the kind of revolution that will bring change where your needs will be met, and you will tell your government you will not stand for dictating for you. Grandbay, let me say to you, I am proud of you. I am proud of who you are. I can only say so much and I can only do so much. However, it behooves you, the community, to get together as one. Stop the division. Stop the infighting with your neighbors, your sons and your daughters, your brothers and sisters. Stop turning against them because they feel that they are privileged with the current regime, and therefore you should turn against them. This is what the government wants. Roosevelt's carrot, his mode of operation is to divide the community, and once you are divided, you can never stand strong. I urge you today, get to the mic, express yourself. No one can cut you down if you simply stand for what is right. Then it makes you strong. Ladies and gentlemen, I am saying to you, Grandbay is yours today, Grandbay is yours tomorrow, and let us set the stage for the children's success. Get together, stand strong against a regime that has dictated for you, doesn't like you, but enjoys your vote to stay in power while they get richer. Thank you very much, Grandbay, and have a great day.
Yes, you have heard it from the man from the soil, Mr. Ralph Al Cendor. Very powerful message, and we would like to thank Mr. Al Cendor for taking the time off to prepare and to submit that message to us as part of this gathering at Grandbay this evening. We are moving on. We are coming to the end of the program. We have Mary Dangle. I think you want to say a few words. Very quickly, we'll just take Mary Dangle. Then we will have Thompson Fountain, and then we will close with the King Dice, and then a vote of thanks by Paula Celestine. So, Mary Dangle, a few words, very short, please.
Thank you very much. Good night, everyone. And I am very proud to see all the people here tonight, and we have to be re-educated. Number one, we need clean water in Grandbay to drink, water that is alkaline, because the cancer population is very high. Diabetes. I want you all to know what is diabetes. Diabetes is you have worms in your pancreas, you got to deworm. High blood pressure. You got worms in your kidney and stones. You got to drink that fei yam pen to take out them stones in your kidneys. Get off them medication and let's go back to nature. We are hemoglobin and the trees are chlorophyll. We got to eat more chlorophyll, guava leaves, mango leaves, and simeko to our wormwood and deparasite the body. Let's unlock the brain. So let's start. The people who live in the housing apartment cannot talk. Forgive them, because the keys can be gone overnight and they can be homeless. Let's forgive them. The people who work for NEP cannot talk because they will be jobless and they have no one to support their backbone. Forgive them. Let's go on with the real train. We have Matutu Park, which have established the background of culture of the village, and right now we are not making any money in the village because of that particular foundation, the head capital of culture, Grandbay. We need Matutu Park fixed now. Number two, after Hurricane Maria and all the poles and everything was on the grounds and houses were dilapidated, we need a jetty now. Just like Marigot. That's what I need, a jetty. The third thing I need is a farmer's market, because my people are unhealthy. My people have gone back to slavery. Injections, medications from the enemy. The dragon cannot maintain carbon. Black people are carbon and white people are sulfur. White people can digest milk, black people cannot digest milk. Their body do not make protein, they need meat. Black people do not need meat. What we need is a healthy lifestyle. And we need to go back to one thing. We need to manufacture our water. Right here in Powell, we have the best water. We contribute trillions of gallons of water, and we are broke and poor in Grandbay. Grandbay has the best water. And when it comes to abolishing slavery, Grandbay was the first to abolish slavery. And Grandbay is the boss of all Dominicans, because the Grandbayrians run the Chinese out of here in the late 1600s, which are the Caribs. They are Chinese. They are sulfur people. You cannot change that. You have to accept that. Number two, we need trades in the high school. We need nursing assistants and LPN scale, because I graduated as a nurse in high school in America. I had my LPN certificate in 6 months, giving IV, giving injections, oxygen, and preparing dead people for the morgue. In 6 months. And in Dominica, they want you to go 4 years for nursing. Just go and look up California nursing and you will see how fast you can become a nurse. Number two, we need truck drivers and car drivers in the high school, because we had to import Chinese from China after Maria. These are jobs that are losing. Number three, we have a tramway building system which is going to stop bus drivers from making money and hikers cutting the economy of poor people. We need to have a water factory, a juice factory, and the NEP would be a great addition for the herbs to be packed and be dried and exported and to keep us healed. I want you Dominicans to know that you are the third highest in cancer in the world. And you have to know that wormwood is the medicine to drink. You have to drink it 3 days before full moon and 3 days after, and purge yourself. Because you got to get rid of worms in the pancreas, worms in the kidney, because that gives you diabetes and high blood pressure. You have to heal the people if you want the people to be on your side in a political arena. I'm talking facts. We need to be re-educated. The educational system in Dominica is not yet ready for the brilliant brains that's in Dominica and in the village. Grandbay has one of the most brilliant people ever in life. They invented Carnival and Creole Festival, and they have not recognized none of the musicians. They get paid like $1,000 and foreigners get million-point change. We Dominicans have to make a change in economy. Our money leaves the country from the stadium with security, and everybody in Dominica that is musician do not make no money but poverty. We do not have no musicians with mansions. We do not have no musicians with proper living. We do not have anybody with talent, with proper dwellings. And right here in Grandbay, take a look where Sakis is located. Sakis is the backbone of the government, and they do not have a proper band, and they do not have a proper dwellings, and they need a proper dwelling to keep the fucking generation going on. That's what I say. Mary Dangle.
Okay, thank you. She has a lot to say. She's looking at Grandbay, looking at what is not existing, and so on. So we want to thank her for her input. And right now, yes, okay, so we're going to wrap it up. Our last speaker is not physically here with us tonight, but we have him through the communication system. So before we bring on the King Dice get close, we just want to bring you a quick message from Dr. Thompson, the political leader of the United Workers' Party.
To the people of Grandbay and to all of you who are here tonight, I say a very special good night. My name is Thompson, political leader of the United Workers' Party, and I'm delighted to be able to talk to you for the next few minutes and to be a part of this grand occasion that you're having tonight. Obviously, I wish I was there in person. I wish I could be there to see your faces, to greet you, to talk to you, to be among you. But nonetheless, with the strength of the internet and the ability to be able to communicate with you at this time, I will do so. Let me start by saying what an honor it is to me to be there tonight and to be able to talk to you and to really speak to you from my heart, because I believe and I know of the tremendous role and the legacy and the place of the Grandbay people and of Grandbay in the history of this country. I know Grandbay as a proud place where we had many of our Negma leaders came from and lived and made their lives and made their mark on the history of Dominica. Brave men and women who fought for the freedom and the liberation of Dominica. This is a legacy that continued in the 1970s in this big uprising at the Geneva Estate. So there has been a history of rebellion, a history of standing strong, of standing firm by the people of Grandbay. Unfortunately for us, we have seen a moving away from that legacy. We have seen a moving away from that spirit that's so energized, that's so motivated, that so allowed us and allow the people of Grandbay to contribute that the way they did to Dominica. I think of another great leader out of Grandbay, former Prime Minister Pierre Charles. May God bless his soul. This is a gentleman that had a great opportunity to interact with. I had several one-on-one sessions with the Prime Minister, Charles. I know his heart and his mind and his thoughts about Dominica, and where he wanted to see Dominica go and the direction he wanted for our beautiful country. Sadly, it is not to be. But what has been his legacy? And I'm sure today he's turning in the grave when he sees the neglect and the disdain with which the people of Grandbay have been treated by this current administration. The people of Grandbay who are given support, diligent support, continuous support to this Labour Party government. And what do you have to show for it? What do you have to show for it? There is nothing that this government has done that I can say equates to the kind of support that you, the people of Grandbay, has given to this administration. And I think none of the 10 points start to think. Is it worth it? Is it worth it to continue to support a government that ignores the plight of your children? A government that will not do anything to create jobs or opportunities for the people of Grandbay. A community that has been devastated through immigration because a number of persons from Grandbay prefer to immigrate out of Dominica than to remain in Dominica under those circumstances. So you have to begin to think, can you do better? Should you do better? And of course the question to that is yes, you can do better and you should do better. You have to begin to think of how you can change the current situation. Because quite clearly, this government has not worked for you. This government has not given you the kind of opportunities that you should have. I've seen videos in the recent days of Matutu SPAC. I've seen of the neglect of the people of Grandbay. But I wonder, why is your government doing this to you? Why is the government honoring the memory of Ed and of Fabienne and former Prime Minister Charles? Why? What have you done to this government? When all you've done is support them. You did not do anything in return for you. And that's why we're here today. And that's why we're here to encourage you to think of your better future, to think ahead. Alright, it cannot be that you're simply saying because we always support it, we have to continue to support. It is time we begin to look within this country of Dominica. Look at persons who genuinely care for and are concerned about you. And I can tell you without a doubt that we within Team Dominica
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end. Thank you, Mr. Fountain. So we have to move on. We need to close the session very soon. Mr. Dice, if you are in the house, so it's for my pleasure to have been your master of ceremonies. I would like to thank my grouping for putting the confidence in me to share this meeting. And I want to thank all of you, Mr. Paulet, and all of you who have attended, Juan Michel, the Valley, wherever you have come from, to be here with us this evening, from Bagatelle, from Fort Saint-Jean, from Belleville Chopin. We want to thank all of you in a very special way. But Miss Paula Celestine, after the dice, will give the official vote of thanks. So thank you for coming. I think it was a wonderful experience. I think we achieved our objective in terms of educating you, informing you, and preparing you for as the struggle continues for electoral reform in Dominica. So let's have it. We have Majesty in the house. We have our 10-time King Dice. Nobody else has reached that accolade and that record. So we want to thank the man, abundance talent, a man in the struggle. So let me pass you on to King Dice to bring the curtains down on the proceedings this evening. King Dice.
Yeah, man. Yes, I got everybody blessed, everybody good. It's good to be in Grandbay on this mission there. Electoral reform is a thing every fair man must be part of. You know, if you're in the church, if you're a pastor, if you go in church and you say you know God and you love God, you're supposed to love fairness. You see what I'm saying? And fairness is a simple thing. You know, you don't have to free yourself. We are black people and we come out far. Didn't have no black caveman. I never hear about that. So black people there a long time doing our thing. Don't be scared of yourself and your inner self. You know, take that step where you know is the right step to take, because that is how we build in the next generation of our children. You see, and if we do feed the tree with good nutrients, the tree can't grow properly. You understand? You can't give the tree poison and expect the tree to grow properly. And if the head do good, the foot do good. So your head have to be good. Your head individually, and anybody that is ahead of anything, like the Prime Minister them, the head of this, the head of that, as long as he is ahead of something, you're supposed to be a good head, so that the foot and the arms and them can do good thing. You see? So electoral reform, meaning people that was there before the thing, you know, and voting thing, let's just make it fair. And this is a thing I can stand for 100,000%. I didn't know nobody to tell me when to come and what to come and sing and say. Because these things is fair things, and we are God people. Don't forget that. And as God people, we're supposed to act like God, you know. Drop it. Let's drop some tracks. Let's enjoy yourself. We go up now. We gotta go. Diddy die, die, die. I said, boom, down, diddy die, die, die. Come on. Da da da. Right there with them, I know them. Give it. Greetings, Mr. Abdullah. Salam alaikum. You the people. You the people. I'm singing to make you aware. Things are bad at home. The local treasury down here is empty, and you in charge of our treasury overseas. Over 6 billion and counting, and we the people down here scrunting. Never in our life before, in our Dominica, all our wealth offshore, and our people so poor. We facing a crisis here, so I bypassing leader, we suspect you don't like him anymore. Good morning, Mr. Abdullah. Good morning. Everybody broke down here. $1 billion or 2 or 3 from our treasury overseas. The man never see come see. We sell the country money, buying election and building mansion. Now we going after credit union. You see, you want to save for people money. Yeah, man. Know yourself, man. Don't be scared of yourself. With black people, with God people, you know. Dun, dun, dun. Come on. Da, 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 da. Oh, my Lord. Yes, sir. It's up to you, Mr. Abdullah. Salam alaikum. To the people, to the people. You know, corruption of citizens born
win with diplomacy. You front load money before, come front load a little more. 6 billion of 5 on 4. Whoa, big money, Mr. Abdullah. Everybody broke down here. $1 billion or 2 or 3 from our treasury overseas. The man never see come see. Waste all the country money, fighting opposition and buying loyalty. He borrowing from social security. You see, he want to use it over and over. Forward again, till he die there. I said, Uga, 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 Uga. You have a black room business, man. Don't let them stop your tongue. You have to stick up. Aye, aye, aye. Yeah, man, so boy, this is a message to all the Californians out there that try to sing about the truth on them. Tell them we sing and we still win, yeah? This is a warning, Mr. Abdullah. Young people, young people. No, your time is coming. We will come calling if you don't come home. Remember, you signed the contract publicly in the Windsor Park. If you mama guide the leader, that is he, not Dominica. The economic chance to be a high developed country instead of prosperity. We see more poverty. So your decision could make you a wanted man or the greatest Muslim in modern times. Oh yeah, good morning, Mr. Abdullah. Everybody broke down here. $1 billion or 2 or 3 from our treasury overseas. The man never see come see. Waste all the country money, sending all the money overseas. Now we going after MBD. The only bank left in our country. And I'm taking that. Nine. Thank you very much. I love you. Hooga, hooga. You won't noise, okay? That's the show.
Yes, Mr. Dice, thank you, Mr. Dice, for bringing the little song. And we want Mr. Abdullah. Mr. Abdullah, if you are hearing us in your big skyscraper in Dubai or United Emirates, wherever you are, Mr. Abdullah, please bring the suitcase down with all the money, Mr. Abdullah. If you can do that for us, Mr. Abdullah, we will give you the highest honor in Dominica. Just bring the money from Mr. Abdullah. Okay, so, and we want it now, eh? We want the money now. We want the money now. So yes, Paula Celestine, an integral part of the ERC, representing Civic vibes, and she's a dynamic woman, I must say, in many other groups. So she will come and give the official vote of thanks on behalf of the Electoral Reform Coalition. So we are very glad to have all of you. Give yourself a big round of applause for a very successful meeting here this evening in Nilali in Grandbay. Paula Celestine, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. First of all, I want to say hats off to the people of Grandbay. Thank you very much for welcoming us here this afternoon, well, rather this evening now. I want to say a special thank you to the organizers of this special occasion. Thank you very much to each and every one of you that played your part. Thank you to the MC, Mr. Coffee. Thank you very much to Collier for having us here at his place this afternoon. I want to say thank you to King Dice, Soulpus, all the other places who are here who came from far. in a special way to those who had us on different social media, like Mr. Loftus Duran, also MO, DNO, Q95. Thank you very much. The people who made it here this afternoon, if it was not for you, we would not have had a very successful activity here. So special thank you to each and every one. While you travel home this evening, I want to say, take care on the road. Take your time so that you will get to your destination safely. But I have a little word that I want to leave here tonight to the people of Grandbay. The people of Grandbay, Patrick John, who was once Dominica's leader, was sent to prison for $36 easy. We have someone who's been leading or running this country for over 20 years. And we are seeing what happening here in Dominica. It's first time in the history of Dominica that we have gangsters and thieves running our country. And this man who calls himself a leader have been causing the people here in Dominica to be poor, because everything that people have done here have resort to this which calls itself a government, taking the people land from them and giving them little crumbs and cause them to actually go on their knees. I want to say there was this young lady who spoke about all what we have here in Grandbay. The LEP workers, I'm not against the LEP workers, but the LEP workers, you should demand that this which calls themselves a government should create better employment for you all instead of going to cut grass by the side of the road.
Yes, DJ, yes.
What about our factories? Every single factory have closed down in Dominica. So I'm saying, while we are here talking about electoral reform, which is should be our main focus, because the other countries in other parts of the world, and especially in the Caribbean, they're having similar problems. But the problem that we are having here is greater than what the other countries are having. Because while the other countries are talking about corruption, we in Dominica here have not had a fair election for about 10 years. And this should be our main focus. Because when you go to the banks, they are asking for a picture ID. When you are traveling, you have to present a passport. When you go to Social Security, they give you an ID card. When you go to Traffic Department, they give you an ID. And this is for you to drive. And the main thing in Dominica here, which allows us our rights as citizens, is not given to us. And by that I will say, we have realized that what is posing as a government is a set of gangsters and thieves. And because of that, we must all come together as one and demand that if electoral reform, if our voters' ID cards are not given to us, we should demand that what poses itself as a government should be out of office, not later than this year. Thank you very much. Safe journey home, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Paula. Great job bringing the curtains down. So it's just for me to thank all of you a final time. But in particular, we want to thank our men on the ground, the organizing team on the ground, Lee and his crew, who have done a marvelous job, I must say, ensuring that we have the speaker system, that we have the venue, and that we could identify some local speakers and so forth. So we want to thank the Grandbay people who have collaborated with us for making sure that this event was successful and was held in the manner that we wanted it. So thank you all, everybody. We want to thank the gentleman who prayed for us in the beginning and all of you who made your contribution and made this event a successful event. Thank you those who are looking at us on the various media platforms we were very pleased to have you following our event tonight. Thank you, one and all.
Gracias.